Okay, how is that going? How does that sound now? I'm gonna just have this on my phone. Okay, OBS just needed a restart. Anyways, now let's get back to the show. Mr. Stancil, well, you were saying something about challenge runs. Haha, very facetious. You know, I was having some technical difficulties, and I think maybe you were the cause of them. So now you're blaming OBS's insufficiencies on me? Yes, I am, Mr. Stancil. Sorry about that, friends. Things will be going back to normal. So let me tell you guys what the stream tonight is all about. Basically, I figured, you know, after the heavy hitter that was last week's stream, had some of my best moments, if I'm being honest, I figured I should just kind of, you know, relax a little bit. Let me just say, all good now. Yeah, thank you for confirming, Rexus. But basically, I figured, you know, we just watch some challenge runs. It's one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube when I just have nothing else to watch. And then I also have a bit of a meta video about gaming YouTube as a whole. But if we have time. We have quite a few runs to get through. For the games, we got SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, we got Doom Eternal, we have actually a Mythic Plus run from the new upcoming season, and people are already pushing very high keys. It's fucking nutty. We got Mario 64, and we got Gungrave Overdose. A pretty diverse line of games that we have here for tonight. You like to play baby games like SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom? Oh, Mr. Stancil, I know you have Rehydrated in your Steam library. I plan on getting Rehydrated one of these days too, but I also have Battle for Bikini Bottom on my GameCube. So that's pretty cool. Do you even have any retro consoles, Mr. Stancil? I think I might have sold mine. Maybe I have mine around. I don't really know. And honestly, gaming just takes away time from arguing with the fascists on BlueSky.com. I see, Mr. Stancil. When does something not have to do with the fascists for you? Force Mr. Stancil to listen to folk musician Byron de la Vandal. He's definitely not a nationalist like me. Okay, yeah. Yeah, just tend to do that. Okay. I think we wasted enough time here, especially with the technical issues. I think Mr. Stancil might have been, you know, chewing on some wires or something. I am not a dog or a cat, okay? I mean, you are essentially, in my mind, you essentially are like a pet to me. You're solely there for my entertainment. And I have to feed you and bathe you and just do everything else that, you know, yeah, every other pet owner does with their pets. Kind of glad you're not aquatic, though. Anyways, let's get on to the video. And yes, Mr. Stancil will be. He will be. Oh, hold on. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that, I forgot I restarted OBS, but let's get started. Can you beat Battle for Bikini Bottom without jumping? You got eaten by a swarm of rats.
Look at the absolute verticality that this sponge man is able to achieve. I mean, seriously, that is enough to rival Mario himself. Or at least it would be if not for the fact that SpongeBob is canonically 4 inches tall. Better luck next time, little guy. So anyways, about that jump height, what if it looked something more like this?
Okay, I see.
See, doesn't that look like a much better video game now?
Jumpless.
Battle for Bikini Bottom is one of the video games of all time, and I would describe myself as quite intimate with it. I played through it dozens of times as a kid, and several years ago I was even a pretty decent speedrunner of the game. So when I felt like revisiting it this time, I decided to give myself an extra challenge.
So the thing is with this game, in particular, this is one of the few times where it's videos like this that actually get the company's attention, the company in this case being Nickelodeon. And people were making videos like this for this pretty alright 3D platformer, and not to mention all the speedruns of the game. It became one of the most popular games to speedrun for a while. I think it was like over the lockdowns. People didn't really have much else to do than just kind of playing through their game catalog, and wouldn't you know this, people remember playing this game as a kid, and they were, they decided to, see what they could do with it, push the game to its limits, and eventually that got the interest of Nickelodeon to remake this game, and then, let's see, I gotta see when Cosmic Shake came out, because that's, if it wasn't for the speedrunners, SpongeBob Cosmic Shake. When did that come out? But yeah, that would eventually get us to, Cosmic Shake coming out, and what was the other one? Came out in 2023. It's actually one of Synthman's favorite games of that year because, well, it didn't have any fucking bullshit politics in it. And then Titans of the Tide came out last year. I heard pretty good things about that. It's kind of like Doom: The Dark Ages in regards to that. It's like it's good, but it's like the least good of the 3D of the trilogy, so to speak. You had Battle for Bikini Bottom. Technically, it would be quadrilogy because you had the movie game, but that's more of an adaptation of the movie, not its own original story, which Cosmic Shake and Titans of the Tide were. But essentially, it was Battle for Bikini Bottom, Cosmic Shake, and Titans of the Tide. And Titans of the Tide is considered the weakest of the three. Good, but it seems like the debate between Battle for Bikini Bottom and Cosmic Shake is like Doom 2016 versus Eternal. There's a lot of similarities between Spinge Bill and Doom, isn't there, Mr. Stancil? No, you're just making stuff up in those autistic brains of yours. Wow, way to be a buzzkill, Mr. Stancil. Fuck you.
Can I beat the game without jumping a single time? Probably not, but let's give it a try anyways. So first things first, we start off in SpongeBob's Pineapple and we have to collect 50 shiny objects to escape this fruity prison. There's plenty of them around here and we're able to use SpongeBob's Bubble Bash move to gain enough height to reach the higher up shinies. The Bubble Bash move is going to be our crutch for this run since it's the only method we have to gain height anywhere we want. There are a couple other scenarios where we're able to gain height, but those aren't going to come up until later. The Bubble Bash is very limiting compared.
All I know is that I'll probably do a stream with my friend Nomadic Cole and upload more rage-filled Rumble exclusives. My fiery rage has suddenly been reawakened. Interesting, Rex. That's interesting.
SpongeBob
we're trying to keep we are trying to keep it low key here tonight. Well, Mr. Stancil isn't helping with that. Well, if I wasn't stuck here in this castle of yours with a bunch of fascists for viewers, okay, I get it, Mr. Stancil, pipe down. We are trying to keep it low key here, okay? Trying to be relaxed, trying to vibe. You know, watch some guy do some contrived challenge as an epitome of autism, okay?
Up to attack, and then gravity will suck him back down to this cursed ground that we're all stuck on. Once we grab those 50 shinies, we're set free into Bikini Bottom and we can start knocking out some spatulas and socks. First, we'll go and grab the freebie sock that Patrick has next to him. He tells us that if we find 10 socks that he'll trade us for a golden spatula, so we'll go ahead and enter his home and demolish his couch to steal his own sock back. Now, whether or not SpongeBob's small, feeble arms can reach 8 more socks without any jumping, well, we'll see about that. Next up, we'll head into Squidward's house. Destroying all of his possessions will net us a sock, because apparently SpongeBob is the villain of this game. And then, in order to get the Annoy Squidward spatula, normally you're supposed to jump around his house 10 times to piss him off into bribing you with the spatula to leave. But luckily for us, using the Bubble Bash move 10 times understandably pisses him off just as much.
Okay, just stop jumping.
You know, if Squidward considers this jumping, does this mean it's impossible to beat SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom without jumping? Unless we're doing the mud technicality of you're not pressing the A button. You're not pressing the A button. I feel like yeah, usually in challenge runs like these, the rules are a bit more defined. So I think that should be. I think he should have explained the rules of the challenge, so that way it's like, oh, you know, you see Bubble Bash and it looks like a jump, and like so technically you're jumping just without, you know, much, you know, a horizontal movement.
I mean, if you insist. Next up on the chopping block is this guy right here, on top of the pineapple. Those last two were freebies, but this one promises to be an absolute pain in the ass because clearing a large horizontal gap is not exactly in SpongeBob's skill set at the moment. We can go ahead and hit these buttons to make some platforms appear, and this is where it gets painful. First, a well-timed bash will get us on top of the first platform, and then some clever movement and a bit of button mashing can get us onto the eyebrow of Squidward's house. But the next part is a lot more difficult. After you use the Bubble Bash move, there's a small window of time before you land that you're allowed to input other moves. You're able to move forward, you're able to use the spin attack, or you're able to use the Bubble Bounce. Moving forward and using the Bubble Bounce is going to be our main method of clearing horizontal gaps, but as you can see, it does not exactly give us a lot of height or get us very far. Another way we can increase our horizontal distance is by walking off of ledges a bit before we use the Bash move. This game is incredibly generous, and I mean incredibly generous, about the window of time you have to input moves after walking off a ledge.
Yeah, people call, like, I can't believe people complain about coyote space in 3D platformers as if like that's a bad thing. That's actually good game design right there, if you ask me. Okay, that kind of sounded a little ESL there. I guess even I have my ESL moments.
I mean, seriously, he's completely in the air and we're still able to use the bash as if he was on the ground. So to get to these two platforms that move up and down, we have to walk off the ledge as much as possible before using the bash, and then we need to get as much forward movement out of our bounce as possible. This has to be perfectly timed with the platform rising and falling in order for the platform to be underneath SpongeBob when we use the bounce move. The next platform is a lot easier to get to, so that leaves just one more jump before we can snag the spatula. God damn it.
I get fucked.
And there we go. That was definitely a lot more involved than the...
Well, I could look at art by Arzy Parzi. Don't like the fact that he's a furry, but the fact that a radioactive mutant furry from Chernobyl is considered as wife material makes me laugh like an idiot.
Last two spatulas,
See,
but I mean,
don't know
if
what you're
that
talking
was
about,
possible,
Rex.
there's
Let's
got
try
to be
keep
plenty
it
of
on
others that are
on
possible,
topic.
right? Before we move on to Jellyfish Fields, we're going to use a glitch called the Hand Disable. In this game, there are two types of out-of-bounds zones. There's the zones at the edge of the map where SpongeBob will crawl and claw on the ground, and then after a few seconds, the hand will grab you and place you back at your last checkpoint. And then there's other zones that are found at the bottom of pits, and basically everywhere else that you aren't meant to reach normally. If we stand right here in this out of bounds spot and let the hand take us into the taxi pad for Jellyfish Fields, we can press A to take the taxi, but the hand will take priority and place us back in the map. If we go ahead and repeat that last step, this game will have stored us using the taxi pad and actually take us to the level this time, and as you can see, the hand is still on screen when the level is loading. The effect of this is that the hand will no longer grab us in the second type of out of bounds zone that I described, so we can clip out of the map and fall to the very bottom of pits without getting taken away by the hand. And luckily for us, the game lets you warp to any mission you've unlocked at any time, so we don't have to worry about getting stuck in purgatory at the bottom of the pit. And then one more thing to note is that if we do go into the first type of out-of-bounds zone, the hand will still take us away, and this will re-enable the hand, meaning we have to do the glitch again. Now let's head into Jellyfish Fields. This gap right here shows how poorly equipped we are to handle this environment. I mean, this is the tiniest gap in the goddamn world, and we can still barely get across it with a bash and a ledge grab. We're able to grab this sock right here, and even though we can technically grab the spatula right now because the hand is disabled, we can't quite get enough distance with any combo of our moves to make it there. I tried it from both the spot with the sock and from head-on, and no dice. So we'll go ahead and press onward through the level, dealing with all of these small ledges that I'm certain the developers never thought would be an issue for anybody, but here we are. After many bashes, bubble bounces, and ledge grabs, we make it to the top of the bungee jump area, where we can fall down and grab the spatula, but we're actually going to skip this one for right now, and you'll see why later. Up ahead, we can press this button to reveal our next major obstacle, these platforms that you're supposed to hop between to make it up to the rest of the level. These stupid platforms increase slightly in height as you go across them, which is just not what SpongeBob wants to see right now. I tried over and over to bash and then bounce onto the platform, but I could just not make it happen. I tried climbing up some of the nearby rocks to get more height, but that was pretty much a dead end. After a lot of screwing around, I found that you can just barely, and I mean barely, get SpongeBob to bubble bounce on the edge of the platform if you
why are you forcing me to watch this, King Kreemsicle? Well, Mr. Stancil, you complain when I force you to watch me slaughter your constituents in Doom the Dark Ages, and now you're complaining that you're watching SpongeBob. Do you have any rhyme or reason as to why you just complain all the fucking time? You're worse than me.
Space out your inputs nearly perfectly. This was both a huge relief and a massive headache because yes, the challenge was still alive, but the next several jumps would be equally difficult if not impossible. After lots and lots of trial and error, I managed to make it to the big halfway point platform. I can't stress enough just how annoyingly precise a lot of these inputs are. Every time I fall down, I have to warp back to the bungee spatula and wait for the loading screen just to try the first jump
Dusty,
all over again. So,
Nazi
to make a long story
and
short,
I would like to end you permanently. Hey, Mr. Stancil, that's going too far now. No one gets to kill my viewers
I honestly
except
can't believe that this vertically challenged sponge has come this far, but we still unfortunately have a lot of level left
so
before
much
we
for
get to the
keeping
spatula
things
at the end.
low-key.
After smashing some robots and tikis, our next major obstacle are these little puddles of water, or goo as the game calls it, with tiny little islands in the middle. The thing that's super annoying about dealing with goo is that using your bubble spin or bubble bounce will drown you, which respawns you at the last checkpoint. Now, if you thought the run was stupid up to this point, this is where it becomes absolute bullshit. There's an oversight in this game related to SpongeBob's damage animation. After the animation is finished, there is a single frame where SpongeBob is considered grounded. On this singular frame, you're able to press any button as if SpongeBob was still on the ground. In top-level speedruns for this game, this is used in several places to essentially...
My goodness, Shift. I'd love... You know, he is a lolcow, but I'm not sure if he's worthy of, like, lolcow spotlight. If you catch my drift. Because he's not like a degenerate. He's not a bad person. He is just he's been speedrunning this game for years, and, you know, he gets really way too emotional about it in comparison to, like, other speedrunners who just feel kind of dead if they keep speedrunning the same game for as long as he has. Like, but for him, he's just like... He's kind of like Mr. Stancil in that regard. No, when I complain about the fascists on BlueSky.com, I'm trying to make a real educated point that uneducated morons like yourself do not understand. Well, gee, if you think we're all uneducated retards, I don't know. I don't know, maybe your artsy fartsy posts are just too highbrow for us.
Actually triple jump by double jumping after a damage boost. But luckily for our purposes today, you can also use the bubble bash on this single frame, which not only lets you gain extra height, but it also keeps the horizontal momentum you have from the damage boost. This opens up a lot of options throughout the game, as you can do this both with the recoil from touching goo or the recoil from getting hit by an enemy. Unfortunately, this game runs at 60 frames per second, so there is a 1/60th of a second window to press these buttons. I know that sounds ridiculous, and it certainly is, but at least for this section we can touch the goo and try it over and over until I can manage to hit the 1-frame input. I also have to move SpongeBob in a very specific way to make sure he gets knocked back far enough to have enough momentum to clear the gap. We can use this exact same method to get across the next two goo sections, and now only one more obstacle remains between us and the spatula at the top of the hill.
Do you guys see how autistic this is already getting? Like only Spurgs like myself would care to know that you have one frame that that Spingebill is considered grounded. Like, do you know what I mean, right?
Before we do that, though, we can hop across these bouncy flower tree-looking things and grab the sock on top of the big jellyfish rock. I bounced up to this hidden fountain at the top of the level with a sock on top of it, and I tried to use another 1-frame damage boost to get this sock up here, but I couldn't manage to find an angle on the sock, so I just gave up on it. Back to the obstacle at hand, there's this wobbly bridge right here that tilts underneath SpongeBob's sheer girth, which would be an issue if not for the fact that you can just spam the bubble bounce all the way across to prevent actually weighing the platform down. On the other side, all we have to do is slay these robots, and we can finally get ourselves another spatula. All of that effort to cross this entire level was for one single spatula. Next up, we can head into the Jellyfish Caves area. Sliding down the slide isn't an issue for us, but neither of the socks on the slide are accessible without being able to jump. At the bottom of the slide, there's a section where we're supposed to destroy 3 Duplicatotrons and press 3 buttons in order to unlock some platforms to get us to Patrick. But these platforms are too tall and too far apart for us to have any hope of getting across them. So, this looks like a dead end, right? Well, not exactly. There's a trick used in speedruns to get the spatula without doing any of that by simply damage boosting into the cutscene trigger where you can save Patrick and he gives you the spatula. Lining up with this hammer robot and hitting a 1-frame damage boost input gives us just enough height and momentum to grab this spatula, which both looks impressive and is actually impressive. Activating this cutscene switches us to Patrick so we can pick up the spatula and keep moving on. Unfortunately, Patrick totally sucks in this challenge. Without jumping, he is completely glued to the ground. He doesn't have a move like SpongeBob's bash to give him any sort of height. So we can throw this watermelon at the button to open the gate, but after that there's a tiny little ledge that just completely defeats Patrick. Even if we did manage to get here as SpongeBob, you still need Patrick's throwing ability to press buttons, so we're just completely defeated here. We can warp back to the bungee spatula and grab that now, and there is a very specific reason that I'm grabbing that now instead of before, but we'll get to that in a minute. For now, we'll head back to the overworld because we have enough spatulas to unlock downtown Bikini Bottom. At first, it does feel like a lot more game has opened up to us, but this level is pretty deceiving. Mrs. Puff tasks us with collecting 11 steering wheels for reasons, I don't know. So we can grab a couple of those right in front of us with some—
This type of autism is beautiful. It makes me violently goon like no other. Pornographic autism is beautiful. Damn it, Rexus. What? You know, I think he actually kind of describes me when okay, no need to get into detail, Mr. Stancil. I don't need to know what kind of stuff you watch on the family computer, okay? It is not a family computer. It is my own personal computer that you gave to me. All right. Way to kill the joke.
And bashes. We'll first head over in this direction for the Tiki's Go Boom spatula. You just need to line up with the cannon so that it destroys the tikis covering the buttons, and then we can press all of them with some bashes to get on top of the buttons. The game then decides to spit directly in the face of our vertically challenged sponge friend by spawning the spatula on top of this very large statue. I tried many different ways to scale it with bashes, but did not have any luck, so this spatula is just out of reach. If it's any consolation, we can at least grab this sock over here. Yay. We can progress through downtown Bikini Bottom pretty normally from here, grabbing another steering wheel along the way. We can unlock the Sea Needle area by paying for this paywall, which was actually pretty promising at first, until I realized that you can't quite make it to the bungee hooks without jumping. So, this area is totally useless to us. Back in the downtown streets, I made it over to Gary, who unlocks this roof area for us, and this is sadly the end of the road for downtown Bikini Bottom. You're meant to use Sandy to traverse the rooftops of all these buildings, but Sandy has exactly the same problem that Patrick does in this challenge. She is completely glued glued to the ground. So without Sandy being able to hover, we can't make it any further in this level. Welp, that level was a little depressing. We didn't manage to get a single spatula, which is extra frustrating because a couple of them were just barely out of reach. So, what now? The challenge is over,
I have a feeling,
right?
I'm gonna make a prediction. I have a feeling it's not possible to beat Battle for Bikini Bottom without jumping.
And we only have 6 spatulas, which isn't enough
We're
to
almost
unlock
halfway
Gulagoon,
through,
let alone the
so-
first boss and second hub area. Well, there is another option available to us. Mr. Eugene Peter Krabs. In this game, Mr. Krabs has 8
His
golden
middle name is
spatulas
Peter.
available for sale, and they each cost an increasing amount of shiny objects. It's only 3,000 for the first one, but they jump up by 500 in price every single time that you buy one. Grinding shiny objects this early in the game is slow, but absolutely possible, so after obtaining 40,000 shiny objects, we can trade them into Mr. Krabs and more than double our spatula count, putting us up to 14. We now have enough to enter Gulagoon, and we're just one shy of entering the Poseidon and fighting the first area boss. Let's head into Gulagoon, where we are immediately stopped by this tall platform and wide gap we have to cross. Flipping this platform is already challenging, but getting up onto it is even worse. I'm sure there's some sort of damage boost 1 frame input you can do to get up onto here, but since I still have the hand disabled, I found that you can actually just walk all the way around this area out of bounds and eventually make it to the beach.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah! Break the game! Break the game!
At first, this gave me a lot of hope, but this is just a big and deceptive dead end. We can talk to Larry and Mrs. Puff to unlock some missions, but Larry's mission requires us to make it all the way through every area of Gulagoon to clear, and Mrs. Puff's mission requires us to reach heights and clear gaps that are just not accessible to this sponge. Once we make it to the goo over here, it becomes very apparent that there is absolutely no way for us to make it across to the giant sandcastle over there, meaning that Gulagoon is another strikeout of a level. So, we're stuck at 14 spatulas, and we can't enter the Poseidon to continue the game. Challenge run over, right? Left. Remember how I kept saying that the bungee spatula from Jellyfish Fields would be relevant later? Welcome to later. When grabbing that spatula with the hand disabled, SpongeBob will collect it but then fall into the goo below. Once he respawns, he will go back and
Will Stancil, you don't know the power of SpongeBob autism has over me. You underestimate my self-autism.
to the animation from collecting a spatula, but since we just respawned, the game lets us pause during the animation while it's saving the game, which is not normally possible. If we warp back to Bikini Bottom while the game is saving, you can see that the save game icon stays on the screen. While the game is in this state, the hand is 100% disabled, even in the zones that would normally take you away and re-enable the hand. Using this, we're able to walk all the way around all of the invisible walls that are in our way, and eventually we can make it all the way over to the second part of the hub world, completely skipping the first area boss. This doesn't open up quite as much as you'd think at first, though. We can grab a couple more socks near and inside Shady Shoals, and we do have access to the Murmelair, but we'll take that on later.
Oh my
The spatula on top of
goodness.
Shady Shoals is far out of reach for now, so let's head into Sandy's Tree Dome. In here, there's a ton of robots just running around, and while some of them are kind of funky to kill without jumping, it's really nothing compared to what we've been through so far. Sandy will give us spatula number 15, which means we have enough to go back and challenge the first area boss for another spatula. Now, if you played this game as a kid, you might think that this boss is impossible without jumping, since all 3 phases require you to jump up and slam the ground in order to knock the head off the robot, and additionally, phase 2 requires you to play as Patrick, who has no method of leaving the ground. Well, luckily for us, right before Robot Sandy becomes vulnerable to getting her head knocked off, she leaps up and slams on the ground, which launches us up into the air without having to press any buttons at all. So you can simply let her launch you up in the air, slam back on the ground, and then just damage her like normal. The only other challenge this boss poses is the clothesline move, but if you just run behind her as she starts the move, it won't actually hit you, making this fight one of the easiest spatulas so far. Beating this boss also unlocks the Bubble Bowl, which is not a big help in terms of movement, but hey, I'll take more options where I can get them. At this point, we could hop into the Murmelair, but even if we somehow managed to get all 8 spatulas, that still wouldn't be enough to unlock Rock Bottom, which needs 25 spatulas. So instead, we need to set our sights on getting to the third and final part of the hub area. Obviously, if we can't get 25 spatulas, getting 40 of them is very much out of the question, so what can we do? Well, in speedruns, there's a trick that involves using a damage boost on top of the police station to fly over this wall and make it into the third hub. Pissing off this Tiki and then timing a bash to take damage from it at the highest point possible will launch us towards the wall, and then hitting the 1-frame bash after the damage animation will give us just enough height to launch over this wall, putting us into the third hub. There's absolutely no way in hell we're going to get on top of this bucket, but maybe we'll have more luck inside. Going into the bucket, the final boss door with its monstrous 75 spatula requirement is staring us down, mocking our mere 16 spatulas. On top of this vent over here, there's a spatula that you're meant to wall jump up to, so let's try our hand at that. We don't even need to use a 1-frame input to damage boost off these tikis onto the vent, which is a nice surprise. And then if we nudge ourselves as high up as possible onto the slope, we can actually grab the spatula with a bash. No wall jumps required. Now we can head behind the Krusty Krab and grab a sock, and then we can head inside, which is absolutely overrun with robots. Much tougher ones than we're supposed to deal with this early in the game. This level is very difficult, but in a little bit of a different way than everything else has been difficult so far, since this is the first level where losing all of our health is actually a threat. There's no way to get onto the top level to take out the sleepy time robots with a bash or a ledge grab, so we're gonna need this Chuck to throw a missile at us and damage boost us up top. After that, we can tiptoe over and take out the sleepy times, but we need to be careful not to lose too much health. After that, we need to figure out a way to get up onto this rafter so we can take out the Duplicatotron. Using a bash into the sloped roof, we can hop onto these boxes and then get a ledge grab onto the rafter on the other side of the roof, and we can even hit the Duplicatotron with a bubble bowl from right here. But for the life of me, I just could not hit the Chuck up here with a bubble bowl. After experimenting around for a little bit, I managed to get another Chuck damage boost onto the same rafter as the Duplicatotron, so I can bowl into the Tiki and take out both of those bastards in one go. After that, I very carefully used the bubble bowl to take out the rest of the robots since I had no extra health to work with, and boom, another spatula down. Now from here, we don't really have a lot to work with. The Mermalair and SpongeBob's Dream are the only two levels that don't have spatula requirements, so let's try our hand at SpongeBob's Dream first.
Oh no.
Right off the bat, it doesn't really look like these platforms are going to be happening. There's so much height and distance to clear, but there's actually a lot more leeway than you might think. The momentum from these platforms rotating can be carried over into a bash, which lets you clear a lot more horizontal distance than you can normally. We can also intentionally stand on top of the spikes to get a free jump from the damage boost, which makes things much easier. And by some act of God, we made it all the way up. Not only did we make it, but it was actually relatively easy compared to some of the other obstacles we've climbed. I don't think that we're going to be able to get the bouncing ball spatula as it's both high up and far away, but we can head down to Sandy's Dream. Going into Sandy's Dream doesn't prove very useful because even if we could get onto the slide, there is absolutely zero chance we could ever make it all the way across without jumping. So instead, let's set our sights on Super Bounce, the spatula on top of Squidward's house in the Dream level. We can pay 1,000 shinies to this clam to unlock these bounce pads, but that bounce pad is way out of reach. The only things we have to work with are the slide itself and this tartar sauce robot off to the side over here. After a lot of screwing around, I managed to make this happen.
Okay, that was actually pretty impressive. What say you, Mr. Stancil? You know what? I'm actually kind of impressed myself. What? We're in agreement on something? I never thought the day would come. I thought we'd always be bickering. Well, we might have some things in common, more than you think. Okay, let's not go that far.
After that miracle, we can bounce up the platforms like normal and just barely land on top of Squidward's house, snagging spatula number 19. Out of everything we've done so far, this honestly might be the most insane one. This is one of the most vertical spatulas in the whole game, and we managed to get it without jumping, which I think is pretty cool. However, once again, this is the end of the road for this level, because Squidward's Dream is 100% not happening, and even though with some clever movement we can make it down to Mr. Krabs' Dream, we can't climb these burgers in order to destroy all the robots. Crossing over to Patrick's Dream to get the two spatulas over there also looks incredibly out of the question. So, we're left with the Mermalair as our only hope. If we can somehow get 6 more spatulas, then we could unlock Rock Bottom and try our hand at some more spatulas there. Right off the bat, our first objective is to climb to the top of the entrance area, and although climbing is not exactly our strong suit at the moment, this level is actually super easy. There's only one even slightly tall ledge that we have to climb to make it to the end, but SpongeBob actually for once helped me out and just ledge grabbed it completely painlessly. Everything else is basically just a little staircase, so we can grab spatula number 20 at the top of the level. Once we enter the computer room, however, it seems like this might finally be the end of the road for this challenge. No matter how hard I try, I'm not able to get onto this rising platform to gain any more height. We would be able to complete the funnel machine and spinning tower spatulas with Patrick if not for this stupid, tiny little ledge that Patrick has no way of climbing over. Like seriously, dude, it's like 3 inches, just step up onto it. Before calling it quits, however, I decided to go back and use save states on Dolphin to experiment around with trickier strategies that might be able to squeeze out just a few more spatulas.
I can see how this challenge would fail.
First, I headed back to Jellyfish Fields, and and I actually did find that I was able to get out of bounds over here by doing a 1-frame bash off the damage from this Duplicatotron. After walking all the way over to the very end of the jellyfish caves, there's unfortunately no way to get back into the map to continue as normal. In speedruns of this game, you can actually clip back inbounds with a ledge grab on the slide right above, but there's no way to do that without a jump. I also nudged around trying to see if I could trigger any checkpoints or anything, but no dice. Back in downtown Bikini Bottom, I hopelessly threw myself at the statue
Just
again,
wait,
but
he's
I
gonna
wasn't able to
argue
get any
about
closer to the
something.
spatula than I was before.
Actually, Mr. I'm paying attention, but Mr. Stancil, you know, I was having dreams about me and Jamal running through cherry blossom fields. Of course you were having a dream about Jamal. You know, he doesn't really miss you, man. He's actually having fun, you know, living a good life without you. Don't you dare say that about my best friend. Well, it's the truth.
I tried doing some 1-frame bash boosts off this Thunder Tiki's explosion, but nothing was working.
No, will you not
the spatula
fall
feels like
asleep
it has
on me
the most
again?
potential to be solved out of any of the unsolved ones so far, so maybe one day we'll figure it out. I headed back into the Sea Needle to give it another go, and no matter what, I still cannot get onto any of the bungee hooks. However, maybe we don't need to get onto the bungee hooks at all. Since the last time we were here, we gained the Bubble Bowl power, which gives us a projectile to throw at the Tikis down below. I cleared out the tartar sauce robots and started chucking bowling balls at the Tikis way below me, and after lots and lots of balls, I actually managed to take out all of the Tikis from the first window. So, maybe this is possible after all? Well, sadly, no. Using a lot of save states, I barely managed to traverse these platforms, and I started taking bowling shots on the Tikis below me. I was able to body some of them, but unfortunately the second and third windows have some Tikis that are too far down for the Bubble Bowl to reach. Once the ball gets too far away from SpongeBob, the ball will despawn. If I jump down with the ball, it actually does go far enough to hit them, but this doesn't help very much because the death plane at the bottom will kill me anyways. Oh, and by the way, if you die,
started
all of the
arguing
Tikis
about
respawn, so you have to
something.
kill
Yeah,
them
of
all on
course.
the same life in
It's in
order
his
to get the
nature,
spatula.
Rexus.
This is
It's in
another
his
level that
nature.
seems like it has a lot of potential to be beaten jumpless, but after over an hour of trying with save states, I still wasn't able to do it. I went back to SpongeBob's dream to see if I could cross over to Patrick's dream using save states and 1-frame damage boosts, and even though I found this super badass boost using the Sleepy Time robot, I wasn't able to get Homeboy the rest of the way across the blocks. Once again, there's lots of potential here, and there's even 2 spatulas waiting over there if we ever manage to make it. And then there was one. The only level left for us to throw ourselves at again is Goo Lagoon. I managed to use a 1-frame damage boost off of this robot to get to this island out here, which is a pretty sick looking trick, and then I messed around trying to use a speedrun trick called Sponge Glide.
speedruns.
Sponge Glide is a really funny looking trick that lets you fly all the way across the ocean to the other side, and then you can play the whole level backwards and get a ton of spatulas, but unfortunately there's no way to get enough momentum for the damage boost without jumping. I used a 1-frame bash to get on top of this building right here and managed to grab a 10th sock, which allows us to go back to Patrick and trade it in for a spatula, putting us up to 21. The final thing that I tried to progress through this level was to go back to the out-of-bounds area I initially used to reach the beach, and after walking around in this
SpongeBob can
janky, hard-to-see
swim!
collision for a while, I managed
Finally!
to do this. Honestly, walking underwater in video games is really nostalgic for me since I grew up watching glitch videos for video games all the time, so this definitely brought a smile to my face. After walking all the way across the entire level, I meandered under the moat, and look at that, there's a spatula down here. This is the spatula called Over the Moat, and it's sitting out of bounds under the water until you pay to activate the spatula, but since we're down here, we're able to collect it. I tried my best to trigger any checkpoints I could from underwater, but none of them extended deep enough to spawn me anywhere new, so this is where our spatula count stands. 22, which is not
Damn. So you can do 22
even a third of the amount we
spatulas in
need to
this
beat the
game.
whole game. I was hopeful going into this challenge that we'd be able to get further, and honestly, I do believe that it might be possible with tool-assisted strategies. I mean, seriously, look at tool-assisted speedruns for this game. It's just not even the same thing.
Yo, I think I definitely would want to do another stream kind of like this one, where it's all about looking at tool-assisted speedruns. Those are fucking bonkers. Okay, I'm kind of tired out here, but just look at this.
And actually, if we look at this task video, we can see that on top of Shady Shoals is almost collected jumpless. We just need to be able to skip the jumps to get on top of this fountain to set up the damage boost storage, and then on top of the chum bucket is actually collected jumpless. So that brings the known possible jumpless spatulas to 23, but I wasn't able to pull off this trick myself, so we're still going to call it 22 for the human jumpless challenge. In all honesty, beating this game without jumping is actually less out of reach than it seems. If we managed to collect 40 spatulas and defeat Robot Patrick, we'd unlock the cruise bubble, which would make a couple more spatulas possible on its own. But it would also give us access to the most infamous glitch in the game, cruise boosting. Cruise boosting is essentially a way to store forward momentum, and you can combine that with a bubble bash to pretty much replace the normal jump. I mean, seriously, look at what kinds of stuff would be possible if we could cruise boost. So if you guys do decide to mess around with this challenge yourselves, be sure to let me know if you manage to figure out.
Yeah, because you could go very far with cruise boosting. It's bonkers, but that will be our first challenge run of the night. Let's get to our. Actually, let me see. I just want to check my Twitter first. Anyways, let's get to our next challenge run of the night, and that is, can you beat Doom Eternal without firing a single bullet? Ugh. So that's what you were yammering about while you were muted? Was more Doom? Yes, Mr. Stancil. You should... You were right there. You're gonna watch more of your constituents die. Maybe. He's trying to do a bit of a pacifist run for Doom. I don't know why, but here we are.
Crucial gameplay aspect of Doom Eternal is, of course, the guns.
We're just gonna speed it up a little. Yeah, good old Doom Eternal. Yeah, weapon switching. That actually works. It's even gorier than Dark Ages. Yeah, chainsaw. Yeah, die!
But what if we took them away? Today, I will attempt to answer the question, can you beat Doom Eternal without firing a single bullet? So let's set some rules for this run.
What was that in the
I'm not allowed to
sidebar?
fire my weapons, meaning performing any action that consumes ammo. I'm not allowed to use major glitches to skip large portions of the game. However, I am
You see, this is already a better challenge video than the previous one, because it establishes the rules.
allowed to use equipment items and certain very specific weapon mods that don't consume ammunition to deal damage to enemies. I am aware that this challenge has been attempted by Wayne a few years ago, but I intentionally did not watch his video before attempting this run myself, so as not to get any ideas. But nevertheless, I'd be excited to watch it after this video comes out just to see the similarities between our runs. If you do find yourself enjoying this video, and if you'd like to support the channel, you can always throw a like, a comment, or a sub. I would really appreciate it. Depending on how well this video is received, I may do a follow-up video where I beat the Ancient Gods DLC without firing a single bullet, but we shall...
Actually, I just gotta plug in my phone really quick. I'm still here, I'm not going anywhere. Mr. Stancil is still in his spot. Yes, I have the shock collar on him, if he really does start acting up.
Shall see about that. So,
I am
with the
not
quick intro
a
out of the
dog
way,
or a pet.
Let's get to it. So, I
I need
rebound
to
my fire
repeat
weapon button
myself?
to a button I would never have access to, started the run on the easiest difficulty because reasons, spawned in, and
Oh, come on, you pussy. You should have done it on Ultra Nightmare.
faced the first roadblock of this challenge. One of the most asinine changes from Doom 2016 to Eternal was the massive nerf done to melee damage. I can understand that the devs wanted to incentivize players to use weapons and weapon combos as well as equipment and blood punch, but having standard melee deal minuscule amounts of damage was just unnecessary in my opinion. I even made a meme about this a while back. I mean, look at this. It took me 1 whole hour to deal with these 3 basic zombies, literally the weakest enemies in the game. Making mistakes would hurt a lot, But with enough patience, I was able to deal with this slight inconvenience, picked up the chainsaw, which would be one of the primary ways of dealing with the demons for most of this level, progressed further through the Hell Barge, and got to the first arena.
Oh yeah, saw him up! At least we still get to see the chainsaw.
Where I would essentially have to chainsaw anything and everything that stood in my way. After being done, I picked up a spare chainsaw fuel as I would need it later down the line, made the first Hell Priest pee himself, and went into the next arena, in which I would use my chainsaw on this Arachnotron, after which I would once again have to run around the arena waiting for my chainsaw to refuel. But yet another roadblock would await me, this Arachnotron. I didn't have enough fuel to deal with it, so what I decided to try out was get the explosive barrels towards it and explode them in its face, but once I was out of barrels, there was pretty much no way for me to deal with this guy, making me have to think of another way to deal with it, and while I was walking around the arena, this guy just decided to despawn, which is cool, I guess. I then went into the underground to pick up the second source of damage, which is the grenade launcher. With its help and the automatically refueling chainsaw, I was able to progress further through all of the remaining arenas with little to no difficulty. This level typically takes me like,
I forgot you could chainsaw the little tentacle
but because of the
guys.
multiple roadblocks, that time went up from 7 minutes to 45 minutes, which was not exactly fun.
Die, Cacodemon. Now wait a second. I do have a little thing that I want to disclose here. If he were to explicitly mention the word Cacodemon, I will search a specific video that is in reference to the Cacodemons. And it's really fucking funny.
But anyway, I finished the level, went to the Fortress of Doom to grab a couple of upgrades, like the Flame Belch and the Health and Perk upgrade. Starting out, I would focus on the armor and health pickups, recharging the Blood Punch, as it did seem like the most logical thing to focus on at the start of the run. Speaking of Blood Punch, I went ahead and traveled to the second level, Exotia, where I would pick up both the Blood Punch and my first rune. Okay, so, most if not all of the arenas in these early levels look pretty much like this, so I'm not gonna bore you with the excruciating details. After going through the arenas,
Okay, good,
I picked
thank
up yet
you.
another very important tool, the dash. The great thing about it is that it actually deals damage to demons. It only takes 2 dashes and a Flame Belch to put a standard zombie into glory kill state, which would allow me to recharge the Blood Punch with pretty much no problems.
You see, and when it comes to these challenge run videos, there's always some creative solution to, contrived problems that the devs put in.
Moving a little bit further to the last arena, I now had all of the basic tools to deal with the hordes of enemies, besides the Ice Bomb. This arena also had a quad damage pickup, which, funnily enough,
sorry, I had to
also increases the
sneeze.
damage dealt by dashing. Once all of the baddies would spawn in, I would use a combination.
Wait. So, dashing into enemies is also amplified by quad damage. Oh, wow.
Of grenades and blood punches to delete these guys from the game. Once I was back in the fortress, I picked up the aforementioned Ice Bomb, which would come in handy for the next level, Cultist Base. As I was making progress, acquiring more and more tools, dealing with enemies was becoming easier and easier. This level had a whole bunch of runes and suit and stat upgrades for me to pick up, and the only slight inconvenience I had to face in this level was the platforming. I had to figure out how to activate these buttons on the walls to open up the gates, but the solution came pretty quickly, thankfully. I then had to possess a Revenant, which is the only part in the game where I pretty much was forced to use weapons to deal with the oncoming hordes, but look. This is the Revenant that's shooting the missiles, not the Slayer.
Oh, we have a technicality, guys! We got a technicality! It's not Doom Guy that's firing the weapons, it's the Revenant. Oh, look, Mr. Stitzel! You actually get to play as one of your constituents in this! Well, I hope that's the Revenant that kills Doom Guy. Mr. Stanzo, have you not played Doom Eternal before? Don't spoil what happens!
So I think that checks out. Anyways, I got the super shotgun, went through all of the arenas, and finished the level, which was quickly followed up by the next level on the list, the Doom Hunter Base. This level was more of the same: Blood Punch, grenades, chainsaw, glory kill. I got the last rune, got a few more upgrades, and faced off against the titular boss, the Doom Hunter. One great thing in my
it's the
favor
cool
was that the
Demon
Blood Punch
Slayer.
deals crazy amounts of
the
damage to this
demon
guy,
version of the
which you
Slayer.
better be sure
It's
that I
a
would abuse
skin.
that. Thankfully, there's a decent
I don't
amount of
use
respawning
skins,
enemies,
man.
which would allow me to refill the Blood Punch gauge and Blood Punch this guy into oblivion. With him down, I had to deal with 2 more of these guys, Good thing is though, they both have less health than the initial Doom Hunter, and the strat for them would be pretty much a carbon copy of the strat that I used on their slightly beefier big brother.
This game is very gory. You say that as if you weren't watching me play the Dark Ages.
With them both down, I beheaded the second Hell Priest, which upgraded my Blood Punch. Back at base, I got a few suit and health upgrades, and progressed further to the Super Gore Nest. This has got to be in the top 3 of my favorite levels in the game, if not in the entire series. This level just screams Doom, and I love it.
I love this level, man. The music is badass, too.
OG Doom games. To finish it, I had to collect 3 demonic keys of different colors to access and destroy the heart of the Super Gore Nest. The gameplay was now becoming a lot spicier with a lot more heavy demons spawning in. It would be pretty commonplace now to see like 3 to 4 Arachnotrons or Mancubi spawning in, which wasn't that big of a problem since the strat of grouping demons together, throwing a frag in the middle of a mosh pit, and blood punching them would be a good way to dispose of the dastardly devils. The Super Gore Nest as a level also has a complete game changer of a tool in it, the chain gun. But I don't need the gun itself, I need one of its upgrades, which is the energy shield. If you didn't already know, the shield not only gives the Slayer a 360-degree protection from all damage for a short duration, it also boosts the damage dealt by the dash. And that, ladies and gentlemen, would become pretty much my primary source of damage for the remainder of the game. With the heart of the nest destroyed, I finished the level with a smile on my face and progressed to the homeland of the best track in all of gaming.
Yeah, it's a little sped up, but it's for time's sake. Wait a second! Wait a second! The shield fired! Oh! Oh, the challenge is invalidated! Oh! Wait! You could use the Berserk power-up!
Now, the primary goal of this level is to recover the body of Samuel Hayden, the robotic scientist who was helping us in Doom 2016, but before we could do that, we had to fight this guy, who is considered by many to be one of the toughest enemies in... never mind. With Arc Complex done and dealt with,
what?
I got a few more upgrades and witnessed one
you
of the most
able to
iconic
deal
scenes
with
in the game.
Marauder like that?
Just shoot a hole into the surface of Mars.
The portal is ready.
Suffice it,
No, you can't just shoot a hole into the no, you can't just shoot a hole into the surface of Mars. No. Oh, real funny, King Kreemsicle. Are you trying to impersonate me? It's called doing an impression, Mr. Stancil.
to say, shoot a hole into the surface of Mars was exactly what we did. Also, look at how fancy this BFG looks. It's as if it came out of a Barbie movie. Too bad we couldn't use it. One of the reasons why I hold the Mars core level in high regard is this.
Whoosh! Whoosh!
Moving on to the last arena of the level, which didn't provide much of a challenge. However, there were a bunch of Barons of Hell appearing now, signaling to me that things will be getting real fairly soon. Going through the portal, I got teleported to Sentinel Prime, where I had to defeat the Gladiator, the last of the classic Hell Knight species from the original Doom games. He is, or, well, was, rather, the guardian of the third and last Hell Priest.
I actually didn't know that.
This guy is more or less a bullet sponge, so just checking frags and hitting him with an occasional blood punch was a solid way to defeat this guy.
Nick, stop! Let me go! No! Let me go!
Imagine doing this on fucking Nightmare. Yeah, the cultist-based soundtrack is better. I like cultist-based, but it's not as good as Super Gore Nest, if I'm being honest.
Moving on from that, we are now in the great city of Taras Nabad. A few key moments that happened in this level: I bullied another marauder, got a mastery token which I immediately used to get the flaming hook upgrade for the super shotgun. I figured out how to activate these buttons, and most importantly, I got the Slayer's Crucible Blade, which I would be using on major headaches, like the Archviles and Tyrants. We are in the end game now, and with all of the tools and upgrades available, I wanted to spice the gameplay up a bit. Yep, from here on out, all of the gameplay you'll
That's more like it! That's more like it, baby! That's more like it!
see will be on Nightmare difficulty, which made the gameplay a lot more enjoyable for me and will hopefully make it a lot more entertaining for you to watch as well. One of the major roadblocks this time around was the environmental boss, Calibas. The only thing that deals damage to those eyeballs are frags, so I had to wait around for quite some time to be able to progress further.
Bottles exposed.
I don't really like the fact that the Archvile is getting targeted. He's feeling very singled out right now. Well, too bad, Mr. Stancil. He's fucking dead. Yeah, those are
With all the demons slain, I finished the level
Doom
and went
Hunters
into
are
Master
actually
Vault Part
the
2,
Agadon Hunters.
where I would have to face a double whammy
Dark
of an
Ages.
Archvile and a Marauder in one arena. But that's not a big deal, since the Crucible can deal with the Archie and my fist could deal with the Marauder. Also, I witnessed a rather peculiar behavioral pattern by the Marauder here.
Fast as fuck, boy.
Yeah, this guy definitely has brain worms. We gotta put him out of his misery. Oh boy,
Oh, is that what I think it is? Is that a human turned demon? You know, I'm glad he's kind of taking up arms on the right side. Really, Mr. Stancil? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? Then again, of course, you'd have more empathy for a human being turned into a demon than an actual human or a citrus fruit like myself.
it's been a while since the last time I had to fight a pair of eyeballs. How exciting!
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me.
It's good, but I think it's a bit overrated. That's just my opinion.
You cannot stop the procession.
We then proceed to stop the procession.
Oh, I recognize that dagger.
Alright, time for Urdak, one of the most visually stunning levels in the game.
Sing with me, sing for the year, sing for the left and sing for Mattia.
With the icon of Sin on the loose, we needed to realign the free teleporter rings and get back to Earth. But the only thing standing in our way was the Big Mama herself, the Khan Maker. I'ma be brutally honest with you, I was not looking forward to this fight. Like, at all. This whole boss fight with her took like 47 minutes of my life away, which I'm never getting back, and the main contributing factor to me almost breaking down crying was the fact that she has regenerating health. So if I didn't deal damage to her consistently enough, she would just regain all of her health back, which is annoying, but manageable. What I also managed to figure out was that, upon death, the Maker drones that the Khan summons drop enough health to fully restore my health, and fully recharge my blood punch gauge. With that knowledge in the back of my mind, all I had to do to defeat her was kill a drone right next to her, blood punch her, regain the gauge from the drone, throw a few frags at her face, rinse and repeat that 4 times. And this strat seems simple enough on paper, but the Con Maker has just a slight tendency to move out of the way of your attacks, and the health pickups dropped by the Maker drones don't really last all that long, making the fight super RNG heavy, which is the primary reason why the fight took me 47 minutes. Coincidentally, 47 is also the number of my chromosomes. But that's besides
The only
point.
soundtrack that's
For
the
the last
best
few phases,
is
I was able to use the
at
Crucible
Hell's
to
Gate.
stagger
You mean
her.
at Doom's
If
Gate?
I had 3
like
charges
the,
from the Crucible
you know,
instead, I would have been able to end this fight a lot sooner, but since I'm a dum-dum,
M1?
I didn't think of that before entering the arena.
Right?
But like,
Is that what you're
whatever.
talking about?
She went down, and we were able to travel back
Yo,
to...
what the fuck? I did not know you could do that. I've done a few playthroughs of Doom Eternal by now. I did not know you could do that.
Earth.
Goodness, I mean, then again, he should have done this on Nightmare initially, not Hurt Me Plenty, not I'm Too Young to Die. But holy shit. I'd be using my full arsenal here. Like on every combat encounter, goes to show my skill. Well, you're not very good at these games. Well, says you, Mr. Stancil. You're too busy arguing with people on BlueSky.com. They're fascists. They're not people. They're not even fascists. They're leftists who aren't as far left as you are. No, they're just a bunch of fascists to me.
Time for the final boss, the Icon of Sin. As you might know,
We're
there are
already
2
at the
phases to
end.
this boss, and during phase 1, the primary goal is removing the armor from the icon, exposing its actual body. That sounds easy, right? Well, you would be partially correct. There is this weird force field around the icon's body that prevents direct contact for dealing damage with melee attacks or Crucible. But when the icon moves to perform an attack, you can actually
it's
damage
Quake
the armor.
Champions music, awesome.
Now, I'm no game developer, and I really have no idea about the logistics behind this, but my 2 primary theories are, whenever the icon moves, the Slayer can just clip through the force field, or the icon just moves its limbs out of the bands of the force field. It's one or the other. Now, as for phase 2, you are most likely under an impression
know,
that
Dusty,
beating
I
the
know.
icon without firing would be impossible. But take a look at this. Yep, this is the primary strat that I will be using to destroy most of its body parts, besides its forearms, which were surprisingly easy to destroy with the Crucible. Thankfully, there's a ton of blood punch and Crucible pickups in this arena, which will make my life slightly easier. The icon's body still has a force field though, which pushes you away if you are too close, so I had to be very precise with my blood punches. Now, you would probably ask this, Mr. Koala Man, but
It's
how does the
actually
Slayer gain so much
possible to
speed
beat
after
Doom
using the meat hook
Eternal
and
without
opening up the
firing
weapon
a
wheel?
single
I have
fucking
no
bullet.
idea.
That is
All I know is that it
insane.
works, and it works well. But like, not super well. It still took me a whole ass hour to beat the icon. I remember vividly that at one point I went for 10 minutes without dealing damage to this thing, and here's the entire fight sped up by 50 times by the way. Once all of the body parts were removed, it was time to deal with his ugly mug. I know you might wonder, how would I go about doing that? And here's how. Sure, the shield doesn't deal that much damage, but hey, damage
Mr. Stancil, you don't know what a true fascist is. Again, listen to Byron de la Vandal, Mr. Stancil.
is damage in my book. And besides, the icon's health bar doesn't show the actual amount of health that it has, as once I deal enough damage with the shield and the bits of flesh on its face fall off, the entire health bar will disappear, which is exactly what happened. And this, ladies and gents, was how I was able to beat Doom Eternal without firing a single bullet.
That was insane. That was honestly insane. Like, I'm not usually I wouldn't overreact like this, but oh my goodness, that was legitimately insane. You're meant to be using your guns and you didn't fucking use your guns. But I'll be right back, and I think I'm gonna grab me another drink. You took a while to get back. Why did you leave me in that shock collar? Doesn't matter, Mr. Stancil. You're in it anyways if you misbehave. Now, let's get back to what I was talking about earlier. So, we have a keystone run from the upcoming season. And let me explain a little bit about Mythic Plus in World of Warcraft. So basically what Mythic Plus is, it is a difficulty for dungeons where, you start out at +2. So, you go from Mythic 0 difficulty, which is, they're supposed to be, for gearing. They're meant for basic gearing. Get you some free epics. Mythic Plus, that's where things start to scale. The numbers, the health and damage, the numbers, the gear you get too. It's infinitely scaling. Like, if I were to go to Raider.io right now, and I'll give you some context as to, like, the different keystone levels. Let's go to... We're gonna go to, this tank right here. Top-rated tank. So... the highest level key that he has done is a +25 Mayasara Caverns. So, a +25 is the top echelon of difficulty. Like, it is very difficult. It is an extremely difficult dungeon to do. A +20, if you're doing +20s, that means you're basically cutting edge in terms of skill in the game. That means the health and damage of things are very spiky. A white auto attack hit. Why does the hit have to be white? Well, Mr. Stancil, I'm glad you asked, because white damage is auto attacks. Yellow damage is everything else. Looks like the numbers are just racist. No, Mr. Stancil, they're not. They're just indicators to tell you the kind of damage that it is. And the time... Oh yeah, green is for when you gain healing. And red is displayed, when you die. Or when you take damage. But yeah, some of those mobs can hit like a fucking truck. Even though I'm doing like +16 dungeons, which are pretty hard. I'm at like 3,400 rating, 3407 to be exact, on my Death Knight. That's pretty difficult to get. So imagine my shock seeing one of the top players in all of World of Warcraft on the PTR do a +20 ruby life pools before everything got finalized. Let's get started.
5, 4, 3.
And we are going to
2,
speed things up
1.
just a little. So, it's not a challenge run in the traditional sense, where it's like, oh, can I do this without doing X? But it is a challenge. It is a challenge, and it is a run. You're going to be, you are going to be running these dungeons repeatedly if you do decide to play Mythic Plus, which is why I love the mode so much. You just get to grind out things and learn. And they have, so again, they have changed up this dungeon quite a bit. So this is after the changes made on the PTR for this week. Oh my fucking goodness.
Kick.
Oh my god. So do you see how much those health bars are just spiking right now? Look how mad. Like, I could never do a pull like this. Never.
Wow. Bubble. Wall out.
Holy shit. Like, obviously, you're not going to be able to, you will be able to hear the other people he's on comms with, but the amount of coordination that this requires, And they're not saying like, they're not really saying much at all. Like, that's insane.
Bubble out. Wow.
Can you bring me?
Wall out.
And now he has to start kiting? Not when the poll first starts and the cooldowns are rolling? Wow, shocking.
Ready to sack? Let's bubble together.
Holy shit. Oh my goodness.
What is happening? Sir?
It was going off.
No.
Okay, his bolts are scary then.
This pulse will be there.
What?
Oh, sack.
Let's see, who's doing the most damage? Okay, the Balance
Wow.
Druid.
Oh,
Yeah, I think Balance has a pretty strong
Wings
tier
out,
set
wall out.
for this upcoming season. But holy shit. Oh wait, no, overall damage, no, not where's
No, it makes-
DPS? Okay, that would, okay, the Arcane Mage doing that much DPS, that makes a bit more sense. But man, the Balance Druid, like, in that poll, holy shit, he popped off.
Sack.
Oh, danger.
Ice cold. Maybe.
Should find a bird here.
Timing. Look at this. Yeah. Oh. My stagger is 400k. Please get it. Why is he FK? What? Disqualified.
Like, okay, so yeah, this Defiler Draghar, you have to pull him.
Wow.
Like, there's no
Wings
way
out.
you could. There's no longer a way you could pull him onto the boss. That's what a lot of people did in like
Wall out.
the really high end keys back in Dragonflight when I was playing.
Not much on the next stage.
Okay.
That
Actually,
fucking
fine.
hurt. Like doing that pull on top of the boss fucking hurt. It's a reason why I probably never got the dungeon portal for Ruby Life pulls back in Dragonflight. It should be a lot easy. I have a feeling it's going to be a lot easier to get it now, knowing how easy 10s were in Season 1 of Midnight. I hope the keys are as easy as they are.
No, Santa. Fuck.
Guess
Wings
Paladin
out.
was the answer all along. Holy fuck. First try.
I mean, I didn't disconfirm it. I didn't have to power here.
No, okay. Perfect.
Can my Magus open some listen?
Yes, coming. AJ1.
You want to talk about things being race orientated? Undead Forever. You're telling me you can play as walking corpses in that game?
Okay, I'm dying.
Well, yes,
I'm
you
stuck
can. The Forsaken actually have a lot of lore behind them. I found them to be a rather odd addition, but it's like over time, it's like, okay, I see. Wait, is that trash? Does that actually count as... No, I think that's maybe a boss mechanic, no.
Wait, what the...
What is happening? I've never seen anybody do this fight like this, not even in the MDI.
Fuck, I missed the fins. That's...
Okay, they're probably not trash, you know, that contributes to count. But... That's a one big absorb shield. Fuck, 72 million health! Oh my goodness! And already the numbers are starting to look like Dragonflight numbers again. Oh, that's funny.
I'll get some. Okay. You do it.
Is this just to add is this to help the Balance Druid or
Yeah,
the
get some of
Arcane
them,
Mage?
but I have pot line up right now.
I don't get it. I don't get what he's doing.
This one?
Yes.
My goodness. There's probably gonna be another stat squish for the last Titan. Maybe, actually no, maybe not. Maybe not. We're probably gonna have really inflated numbers again.
Bubble?
Oh, stun. Holy fuck.
Motherfucker.
I stopped looking at you for 1 second.
Stop thinking.
Bubble out.
Oh shit. It was. Ah!
This one?
Oh.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
My goodness. Okay, we could actually put it a bit faster. If we were watching this normally, you'd... Did they time... Motherfucker, they timed this, even with the, Wait, no, this is the previous...
Everything got the sub media?
No, this is the previous iteration
Welcome
of the
to the
dungeon.
community.
You probably won't
How
be
do
able to
Paladin
do
in
this
that case?
now, because I noticed the
Is it good?
timer.
I think Paladin should not be
It's
getting
30 minutes, not 29.
At all, in my opinion. What? Tell me yes or no? Yes or no? I feel like, no.
I don't get why
Paladin
they did
is
that.
beautiful
30
how it
minutes
is right
is
now,
fine for
right?
this dungeon.
And there are no problems at all on this class. It is perfect how it is right now. Compared
And I
to normal
also
time the
know
moves.
Prot
That's what I'm
Paladin
saying.
got
Because
nerfed.
if Tank is doing the moves,
So that
he's
made
getting a
him
lot of
still
time
being
regeneration.
able to
And
do this
regeneration
shit. That's
is
nuts.
very important thingy, right? So this is good.
Yeah, Prot Paladin right now is not very good. And
Might
yes,
make
this
this
segment
point
is
possible.
basically just an excuse for me to nerd out about WoW.
I'm playing with...
What? I just fell off. One
We
second.
don't need you, bro. Why not
It's
flop?
faster
bro?
than
Okay, yeah, we could skip a
I'll
little.
debuff you after.
Yeah, we got the pull now.
Oh, I will kick for it. Fine. Kick back.
Abby's getting kicks.
Oh yeah, one thing to note, if you see stuff like, you know, Cinder Bolt, basically a lot of bolt type abilities, you know, the WoW community calls that like bolt slop. Basically those are gonna be dealing at least half your health bar at this difficulty. It might even one-shot you.
A light scope.
Wings out.
There's a stop there.
Origin?
Can't do it.
Hello.
Does this still hit the mobs or no?
Wall out.
Looks like no.
Wow.
Because I have a problem. I don't have spell steal for some reason.
Wall out.
For reasons unknown.
So when they die, they will spin.
No. Stop.
Okay, the knockup
stop.
isn't bad now.
But they're
Wall
gonna do spin now, and I cannot stop it. Sorry.
We just dodged it.
Yeah.
AJ, watch out.
Okay,
Well,
I guess spell stealing the Blaze of Glory?
Silencing guy from behind. Silencing guy from behind again.
No last.
Silencing guy from behind
Dragon
again.
or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop.
I don't have stuff. I can
My
pull it,
ass. Bro, where is Dragon?
Are they synced or no?
bro. You want me to pull him?
Two of them are
You
synced.
want me to pull him?
Yeah, sure. It will be frontal insta to dodge.
They were kind of arguing a little bit.
Bloodlusting.
Okay, going to put on my laptop so my my phone and can do push-ups and squats until I wish I didn't said those.
Bloodlust.
Okay. At this
hit
level,
Dragon
you
as well.
kind of have to
Yeah.
commit the
Wings out.
bloodlust, or at least to one of the dragons.
Wow.
I assume they're skipping Thunderhead. That actually seems to be a pretty popular strategy.
Wall out.
I don't know how it looks now, but
Can stop next. Any idea?
oh yeah, another big thing too. They changed how the cone visuals look, so it's a lot more clear. They're like everything is outlined now. I fucking love that.
I think.
Spell what?
Spell word. Potion ready.
Potion ready. Listen from.
Spell word out.
Put out.
Anyone have damage?
No.
I want to send. Okay, I won't send back. It's fine.
I'm sending
take a while.
Sentinel.
Wow.
Big damage.
Wall out.
I have a feeling for my routes, probably until like I don't know, 14s or 15s. I'd probably be pulling both Flame Gullet and Thunderhead.
And so far we're all deaf, sorry? On the back?
No.
But I'm good.
Oh, someone jumped off.
Yeah,
that's
that's quite the big contribution to enemy forces.
Is it double caster or one?
Yes, one, double.
Save it. Oh.
I'll get double. Oh.
Bubble.
I'm doing cross solo. Any stoppers?
Bubble out.
I'll do. Oh.
Is this blue debuff on you?
Can you stop
Phil?
next?
The stagger?
AJ, can you stop
Yeah,
next?
that's a
Yes,
stagger.
yes.
That's the stagger.
Waiting for them.
Okay, that's pretty big pull.
Wall out. Wings out.
The amount of kick I'm doing is fucking.
Okay, yeah, I guess you don't need to worry about breaking the shield, so they'll just die. I wish I kind of knew that back in 22. Yeah, Thunderhead is the worst one to pull.
Hold kick. Oh, no taunt on the boss. No taunt on the boss. Please don't. Exclamation mark LS Mirror, I can type exclamation mark UI. Like exclamation mark keyword UI. Find all information about it.
Okay, yeah. I'm not sure if you'd be able to just meld that, so you could just keep kind of piling damage on the boss.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, 100%. You skip the fucking boss fight with that.
Do I heal him on the first?
Yeah, I've noticed in some commentaries about these dungeons, it's just like a lot of the bosses, if you're targeted with something and you're a night elf, Shadow Meld is your best friend. Maybe if you're not, if you're not the tank, I would say that. If you're like a tank, then you'd probably want to be Dwarf or Dark Iron Dwarf. But if you're targeted, you could just negate the mechanic. It's fucking crazy. But of course, Shadow Meld is on a 3-minute cooldown. So naturally, not you might be targeted twice. You won't be able to meld out of it again for a while, but it is very powerful.
No.
I don't know if
Wings
that's
out.
intentional though.
Wow.
I mean, the big question is why is it?
Wall out.
What's the thing now? Like, it's not a new dungeon.
I mean, why this debuff started randomly doing magic damage? And you cannot parry it,
Hey,
you
guys,
cannot warp it.
No mechanics.
Oh yeah, Mage has invisibility as well. They could just do that.
I noticed that bosses are doing a lot of damage to the tank. Like, Thresh is kinda fine. I think what they wanted to do, I mean, what they were typing about, they kinda did, right?
Wow. Wall out.
Well, like, much pressure on tank, Pinky.
Who is next?
Real.
No. Sorry.
Okay, looks like the
Wings
druid
out.
was targeted.
I will keep. Kick next.
External. Wow.
Yeah, that's the ad that gets spawned if you actually
out.
don't meld off
Wall
the
out.
ability. It's supposed to... That's what it's supposed to do. You kill it and then you just move.
No.
Oh my goodness.
If you guys want to practice for MDI, I can like not invest.
Are they going to fix it before MJ?
Get banned if you invest.
They will fix it when you will be flying already to NA.
Bro, I hope I'll be flying. Like, I need to get this fucking.
This is the kind of shit I'm expected to do. By the
I
time
can't do
this
this one,
dungeon
can I?
comes out and I'm doing this on like plus 16. This is the kind of strat I'm supposed to do.
It's real.
This would be in Poland?
I would say if BlizzCon was in Poland.
Yeah, I would come.
You done raid this season already?
Potion ready.
Me?
Actually.
Fuck man.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah, can you heal me on this? I legit have nothing.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hey.
sure.
Wall out.
I mean, I cannot trade, like...
Yeah, I mean, you have MDI, right?
Okay, they have
I've
like
2 weeks, like, for this.
12 minutes left on the timer. That's actually pretty good for this place.
For what reason?
They are, again, these are like the cream of the crop in terms of WoW players. Like these guys know the game inside and outside, like the palm, like, you know, on the back or palm of their hand.
Okay. Can you stop next stage?
Uh-huh.
Mr. Stancil, are you falling asleep again?
Wow.
You keep interrupting me every time I dream that Jamal and I are in a field of flowers and we're frolicking through them.
Ugh.
Enough, Mr. Stancil, enough! You're not gonna see Jamal! How many times do I have to tell you this? Oh, you're not gonna stop me from seeing my best friend. Well, too fucking bad. He doesn't want to visit you. Do I have to break the news to you? He doesn't want to fucking visit you. You're just lying to me. Don't you know that in your own religion, lying is a sin? I'm very aware of that, Mr. Stancil, but I'm not lying to you here. That's the best part. I'm not lying to you. I have no reason to lie to you. Okay, looks like he just went quiet again. Let's see.
Bloodlust ready.
I think they're going to be saving Bloodlust for the last boss. That's pretty smart to do as well. I don't know if they're going to be killing Kairaka or Urquhart first. I think the strat now is to kill Urquhart because they nerfed Kairaka a lot.
Wow.
Holy fuck.
Rexus, how the fuck are you falling asleep?
Wall out.
We're watching high-level WoW gameplay from actual pros.
Well, I have nothing.
Same. Okay.
I mean, I bark, but I mean for the shield.
The time.
I popped all cooldowns to make things.
I have a feeling that shield's gonna get nerfed. I don't think they should have buffed it.
You know how this boss is working? Why it's backed and hitting random people in the first time?
Oh yeah, they're gonna fucking time this bitch. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
Wow.
Oh, pull off Morris.
Wall
Okay,
out.
each of them have like fucking hell, 76 million health.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh my goodness. And I know we're watching this at a faster speed. So that's something else to know too. I know what they're doing. They're basically trying to like bait the dragon to go over there so she's not hanging out on like the middle of the map. Yeah, that's something I'd be expected to do as well.
It has good damage with Demon too, I guess. I mean,
5,
is it good? I mean, it's like nothing special, you know?
Ready.
1.
It's like the damage that other classes are doing, let's say. More or less. Like, doing enough damage, doing good damage, it's not enough already. In high keys. Like, you need to bring utility,
Yeah,
you need
Rexus,
to bring,
did you have like a busy week or something, friend?
You need to out DPS, like, by fucking 50 million percentage. If you are not bringing anything at this point, like, is Warlock one of those?
It's 40.
It has to be 40.
I've been taking the dragon the whole time.
Two is better than one. Help me,
Can you stack
Kairaka!
those circles or not?
Bloodlust. Wings out.
Okay,
Sorry, I suppose.
smart use of bloodlust.
I don't remember actually.
4,
You could stack.
3,
It wasn't there like thing where you could touch
Before you
spark
could not.
spread?
Before you could not, but right now someone was saying that you can. Like casual was saying. Before it was given the debuff if you were stacking.
It was jumping back and forth.
Wall
no?
out.
Oh, don't remember shit.
And it looks like they burst down Kairaka in addition to
4,
Aircar.
3,
Okay,
2,
they cleave down.
Ah, seems like it.
Bubble.
Bro, I'm getting this in 2 seconds. Please stop them.
No.
Okay, yeah, they burst down Kairaka. Okay. I don't play WoW, and I find it to be a boring franchise. I'm the type of autist who listens to Ptolemy so I could sleep. Huh,
We don't
I
have count.
see.
Report.
It's not,
Actually, some
it's
counts.
Warcraft, that's
I've
the name of
responded.
the
I think, yeah.
franchise. WoW is just an entry.
Like the
in it.
thunder.
Holy shit!
Let's go.
Wait. Are they not done?
It's actually rank 1.
No, they're done. Oh my goodness. 24 minutes. Like, obviously, we did speed things up a little so the stream can kind of get along nice, can kind of go along nicely. But holy shit. Holy shit, that was crazy. Like, how? Just how? This is just PTR stuff. It's crazy. And knowing that the current best key is a plus 25 right now, I don't know if they're going to be pushing plus 26 anytime soon. I don't think they are. I think that's basically the limit is plus 25. Maybe we're probably going to be... Hold on, I could do some cross-referencing here with the previous seasons. Yeah, we could go back to Raider.io. Mythic Plus. All run leaderboards. We should be able to take a look. Okay. All Mythic Plus levels. Should be there. Fuck, I thought... Okay, so we could take a look at the previous season. So Midnight Season 1. Best run was, oh, I know, plus 25 Nexus Point Xenos. Okay. Then plus 23 Tazavesh Streets. Yeah, Streets was the easiest dungeon in that season. Let's take a look. We could also look at Legion Remix too, because why the fuck not? Eye of Ajara plus 200. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they were... Fuck, they were doing some crazy shit back in Legion Remix. But that doesn't really matter. We could go The War Within Season 2. Plus 20... Oh yeah, Dark Flame Cleft was like really easy. That was a plus 22 Dark Flame Cleft. Interesting. What about War Within Season 1? Plus 20 Arakara. I see. The numbers keep on dwindling. But let's look at Dragonflight. Plus 22 Azure... Oh, Azure Vault back in Season 4. Huh. Must have nerfed it pretty hard. I remember that dungeon being a fucking nightmare in Season 1. And I didn't play Dragonflight in Season 4, nor Season 3. I did the raid. That's about it. Let's see. This was now we're under the old system. So, a 34. Okay, divide that by 2. That would be a 17 in the current system. So technically the keys were being pushed higher because you have to remember to multiply it by 2. Okay, still 34 under the old system. That is really impressive. And that was Ataldazar. Makes sense. Ataldazar, I heard, was piss easy. Let's take a look at Dragonflight Season 2. Nalfaris, plus 33 Nalfaris. We'll go to Dragonflight Season 1. Plus 29 Court of Stars. Okay, I see. Now let's go to Shadowlands. So, Shadowlands Season 4. That would be... Oh, Tazavesh Street. Let's actually go to the one that's actually timed. Plus 35 Mechagon Junkyard. Makes sense. That was a piss-easy dungeon back in that time. Shadowlands Season 3. Let's see. Necrotic Wake plus 32. Makes sense. Makes sense. Also very easy. Let's see. Overall. Shadowlands Season 2 overall. Plaguefall plus 31 and Necrotic Wake plus 31. Okay. I see. That makes sense. And there's also affixes as well back in the Dragonflight times. They basically axed them in War Within. And we'll go to Shadowlands Season 1. Well, after Shadowlands, we're basically going to be moving on to the next game. Plaguefall plus 27. Yeah, I remember Plaguefall being pretty easy. Of course, it's affix dependent. Hold on, I have to reply to Sheffo. Anyways. Enough World of Warcraft. Let's get to Mario 64.
Mario 64, it's possible to scale the courses on their y-axis by using a mod that Rovertronic made. With this mod, you can make the courses incredibly steep by using a number like 5, or completely flat by using the number 0. But what would happen if we used the number -1? If we scale Super Mario 64 to -1, it flips the game completely upside down. Rovertronic actually made an X post about this that went viral with over 5 million views, saying that he found the minus world, since this is scaled to -1 and the minus world is -1 in the original Mario Brothers. In this video, we're going to be playing through the entire game.
You're laughing at a pretty basic joke right now.
To see what stars are possible and if it's possible to beat the game. So we start off in the castle grounds, and the castle grounds looks pretty crazy when you're playing it upside down. So I went and checked out the cannon just to see it inverted. We weren't able to use it though. Then I went to go across the bridge, but it was actually covered by this wall. I was still able to get to the moat area by doing a wall kick though. Once here, we could skip key 1 and go directly to the basement if we wanted, since the moat door isn't blocked. And the tall castle is now a giant pit, so we're easily able to make it to the mushrooms there also. In the original game, you can grab onto the ceiling, but usually it's incredibly hard to do, but now we can just easily grab onto the ceiling just for fun.
I know a lot about Mario 64, but I did not know about that.
We can make our way into the inverted castle and head to the Bob-omb Battlefield painting, which is actually pretty easy to get into. It's pretty absurd playing on these inverted courses. It takes a while to get used to playing this game upside down. First thing we do is make our way over to the mountain, which is now a huge valley, so we can easily just jump down and make it to King Bob-omb. And the fight is pretty standard actually. That is, until the star spawns. The star spawned under the map. This challenge was going to be a lot harder than I originally anticipated. We were actually able to get this star.
Now this is a challenge run, don't you think so, fellas?
Though. Sapling to Tree made a task for this, and it's pretty complicated. How this works is we get this cork block. We take the cork block to the King Bob-omb fight. From there, we have to get King Bob-omb to this specific slope. This is because this slope will let the cork blocks break as we throw King Bob-omb. We pick up this cork box at the exact same time that it breaks. So now we're holding a fake cork block. So when the star spawns in, it takes a spot that our fake cork box is in. So we're able to clone the star. I'm going to have a video by Pan and Koic in the description if you want to learn more about cloning. For our foot race with Koopa the Quick, Koopa just stops right away, so this star isn't possible. For Shoot to the Island in the Sky, the island was way under the map. I use no-clip mode just to showcase this. This also shows that a red coin is under the map, so we can't get the red coin star either. And the coins for Mario Wings in the Sky are also under the map, so we can't collect that star either. Behind Chain Chomp's Gate is under the map also. Yellow Dice has been helping me out with this video, using...
this is possible.
More advanced techniques using tool-assisted super plays. This was an idea he had about getting the star that didn't quite work out. I initially thought the 100 coin star wouldn't be possible, but Yellow Dice was able to make a task of this, which got the 100 coin star by using coin duplication. So Bomb Battlefield gets a 2 out of 7. Now we can make our way over to Womp's Fortress. And here we can easily make it down to King Womp. When we defeat King Womp though, his star spawns under the stage. Yellow Dice was able to make a task of this. This task is very similar to the task we just did to get King Bomb's star. One thing that's different here, the reason he's able to double jump with the cork box is because of the glitch called hands-free holding. So with this glitch, we're able to do ground pounds with a fake cork box. So then when the star loads in, we can clone it and collect the star. To the top of the fortress is actually a really easy star to collect since the fortress isn't flipped. For shooting to the wild blue, we get stuck when we get to this area, so we can't collect this star. A bunch of the red coins are inaccessible, so we can't get red coins on the floating island. For fall onto the caged island, Yellow Dice was super close to collecting this one with the backwards long jump. But when he ended up getting to the cage, he ended up getting stuck in it. Blast away the wall ended up being right in the open, so we were able to collect this star. By using coin duplication, Yellow Dice was able to get the 100 coin star on this stage. So Womp's Fortress gets a 4 out of 7. Now,
you know, I'm not really all that impressed, my liege. Motherfucker, Will, how are you not impressed by what he has to do, given the circumstances? Oh wait, are you like some fucking trust fund commie, I was gonna say a bad word. Ha! I almost got you banned on Twitch and YouTube. Well, not on YouTube, but Twitch, yeah, they don't like when somebody says that certain F word. It's one of my favorite words, but I had to catch myself.
To Jolly Roger Bay, and Jolly Roger Bay ended up crashing on console, so I switched to an emulator. On the emulator, it didn't crash. Jolly Roger Bay pretty much becomes a huge mountain we have to climb now. One thing I found interesting is that I accidentally fell into one of the pillars. I use silly kicks to get up a lot of the steep slopes here. Since the sunken ship is an object, we're actually able to triple jump to get onto the ship, and we can just jump into the window. Since this area loads upside down, there's no water. The box that contains the star is sadly under the course, so we're unable to collect this star. Although we can't select this star, I tried to get Can the Eel Come Out to Play. We're able to land here and free the eel, but when we free the eel just goes under the map, so we're unable to collect this star. For Treasure of the Ocean Cave,
it looks like Unagi can swim in more than just water. And yes, his name is literally Eel the Eel, because Unagi is eel in Japanese.
If the chests don't spawn, so we're unable to collect it. Some of the red coins spawn under the course, so we're unable to get red coins on the ship afloat. We can jump to the outside ledge of Blast Through the Stone Pillar, but we get stuck here, and we're unable to make it to the other side to get the star. Since we're unable to get plunder in this sunken ship, there's no way to select the star through the jet stream, but if we did select the star, we'd easily be able to collect it. So this won't increase our total star count, but I'll point it out in the tier list. And there's absolutely no way we're going to be able to get the 100 coin star since this level only has 104 coins, and there's no way to duplicate coins in this level. So this course gets a 1 out of 7. When we jump into the secret aquarium, the game crashes, so I did this one on an emulator. I was able to get 4 red coins here, but then I realized that the rest of the coins are beneath me and would be impossible to get. So the secret aquarium gets a 0 out of 1. Now we can head into the cool mountain room where we can easily jump into the painting. To start slip sliding away, we can't go into the slide the regular way since the chimney is blocked. I needed to get to the top of the mountain to see if the door was open, so I tried using the bridge, but the bridge was blocked, so I had to climb up the mountain manually. Normally, you would slide down this mountain. By jumping a lot and with some silly kicks, we're able to chuck up this mountain pretty easily. Then from there, I did a wall kick and some backwards jumps, and I was actually able to make it to the top of the mountain. From there, I could go through the door for slip sliding away, go back to get the star to spawn, but when the star spawned, it spawned under the course, so this star is impossible. There was no way we could do the wall kicks or the backwards jumps with little penguins, so there's no way we could get this star. Although we're unable to select this star, I tried out Big Penguin Race. So if we come to the slide from the bottom door, if we do some wall kicks, we're actually able to get onto the slide. And since we're starting from the bottom but it's reversed, it's almost like doing the slide regularly where we're going down the slide still. I was able to make it all the way down this slide, but when I got to the bottom and started the Big Penguin Race, the penguin just got stuck immediately, so this star will not be possible. For Frosty Slide for 8 red coins, There are red coins under the level, so this one isn't possible. Although we're unable to select the star, if we try Snowman's Lost His Head, the snowball can't roll uphill, so this star isn't possible either. We're able to get to the wall kicks will work area with backwards kick jumps. Once we get there though, we're able to get to this portion. Once here, we're able to jump down into this little nook, but the star is still under us. And if we try to jump from the other side, we ended up getting crushed.
Of course, the
so
star
wall
is
kicks
always
will
under
not
the
work.
level.
Yellow Dice was able to make a task to get the 100 coin star. There was no coin duplication in this. Getting this all done in one run is just much easier with a task though.
People make
So Cool
passes
Cool
of
Mountain
this?
gets a 1 out of 7. Now for Princess Peach's Secret Slide. It's a pretty confusing route to get there, but once we're there, we're easily able to make it into the course. We're actually able to back kick up the entire slide, but once we get to the top, the star box is under the course, so we're not able to get that star. Then I realized that we can actually skip the timer entirely. This race has a flag that keeps track if we're currently in the Princess Peach's Slide race. The flag gets set to 1 when we start the race, and 0 when it's finished. But if we fall off the course or exit course during the race, our flag will still be at 1, so the game will still think that we started the race. If we do a back kick so we don't initialize the timer, when we get to the finish line, we can actually spawn the star for beating this course under 21 seconds. The star spawns under the course though, so we're not able to grab this star either. So Princess Peach's Secret Slide gets a 0 out of 2. I'm going to make a new 0% tier and have the amount of collectibles we missed in the bottom right corner. We're able to make our way over to Bowser in the Dark World. We can actually enter just by jumping up. When we start on this level though, we end up getting stuck in the second platform. So we're going to have to take an alternate route and ditch getting the red coins and just try to make it to the Bowser pipe. I was able to do a side flip dive to skip a large portion of the level. Then I was able to triple jump to get near the end. From there, I could jump onto the switch, then long jump to get to the first Bowser fight. Once here, we're actually able to throw Bowser into a bomb to get the first key.
What? How? How does that happen? But I know those bombs have a pretty big hitbox, but what?
So Bowser in the Dark World gets a 1 out of 2. The 2 collectibles are the key and the red coin star. Now we can make our way upstairs to go to the basement. Once we're here, I decided to drain the moat to make it to the Vanish Cap stage. After exiting this door though, the game crashed, but I was still able to make it to the Vanish Cap stage from going through the castle grounds. Once I was at the Vanish Cap stage though, I realized that a bunch of the red coins were impossible to get because the gap was too small. We could silly kick all the way up this initial steep slope. From there, I thought I might be stuck here, but I was able to do a long jump ledge grab to get to the other side. From there, we could see a little bit of the conveyor belts and teeter-totters. I thought maybe I could stand on the edge of them, but it wasn't enough, so Mario just fell off. I used no-clip mode to see the switch, and the switch is in the open, but I don't see a way that we're going to be able to press it. So Vanish Cap gets a 0 out of 2. Now we've made our way over to Hazy Maze Cave, where we can easily just jump right into the level. For Hazy Maze Cave, we end up getting stuck in the initial area. I tried many things, but there was no way to make it out of here. So we can't do any of this level. So it gets a 0 out of 7. Now I went to Lethal Lava Land, and when we spawn in the level, we immediately spawn into lava. Initially, I tried going for the bridge, but that didn't work. Then I realized that I could make it to this platform near the puzzle. From there, I could wait for the puzzle to complete to collect the coins. Then I could long jump inside this platform, then to the metal spinning platform by the volcano. I tried for Boil the Big Bully, but the bully was under the lava, so I wasn't able to attack him. For Bully the Bullies, I had the same problem, so this star wasn't possible either.
Like, holy shit, in that level, you're supposed to throw the bully into the lava, but, well, I guess bullies can survive lava after all.
For 8 coin puzzle of 15 pieces, all the red coins were under the lava, so I couldn't get this one either. And red hot log rolling was under the lava also. Now I made my way into the volcano. This gets a little bit confusing, so I'm going to explain this in a map view. So normally the star spawns here, but since it's negative, it ends up going under the stage. So it ends up around here. So since
if you're wondering why I find this so funny, it's just like like Mario is just getting cuckolded from stars. That's why.
This is negative. We end up spawning at the top here, and the course gets flipped upside down. Because we spawn here, we're able to jump to this portion of the level and then jump down to collect Hot Footed in the volcano. For Elevator Tour in the volcano, Yellow Dice was actually able to make a task for this, where he was able to backwards long jump to collect this star. There are too many coins under the level, so we're unable to get the 100 coin star. So Lethal Lava Land gets a 2 out of 7. Now we can make our way to Shifting Sandland. For in the Towns of the Big Bird, using a tornado, I was actually able to spawn the star. The star spawned under the level though. Then I thought I could use a tornado to get under the level to collect the star, but there are invisible walls, so we aren't able to get under the level. And as we can see, if we stand in the pillar, we are unable to collect this star. For shining atop the pyramid. So normally the star sits at about here, but since it's negative, it gets spawned under the map. When we flip the course around, the star ends up being around here, so we're able to collect it. We're able to make it inside the ancient pyramid. We're stuck on the top though, so we can't access the majority of the pyramid. I went into no-clip mode here just to show how far off inside the ancient pyramid is, and how far the iRock fight is, so we can't collect Stand Tall on 4 pillars either. There's no way to collect the red coin, so we can't get free flying for 8 red coins, and we can't get pyramid puzzle since the coins are under the pyramid. Yellow Dice was able to make a task with this to get the 100 coin star. He was able to do this from coin duplication from the cork boxes. So Shifting Sandland gets a 2 out of 7. Now that we got the required 10 stars, we can finally go to Tower of the Wing Cap, and we can actually look up to the light and get here. But when we get here, since it's flipped upside down, we have no shot of making it up to the cap switch or collecting the red coins. So this one gets a 0 out of 2. Next, I headed over to Dar Docks. But I realized that Dar Docks would be impossible to enter at -1. So I'm going to skip this course for now. We can get around Dar Docks though, so we can still enter Bowser in the Fire Sea. Negative scaling makes this course completely filled with lava. So this is where our negative run is going to end. I use no-clip mode just so we can have a better view at what the stage looks like at -1. Even at -0.5, it doesn't let us go into the second Bowser fight. So we're gonna have to do Bowser in the Fire Sea flat. And when it's flat, we can get burned, long jump from the side, and then make it over to Bowser 2. We spawn under the course though, so we're unable to beat Bowser 2, even at time 0. I tried every scaling in between, and we could finally beat Bowser 2 at times 0.8. So Bowser in the Fire Sea gets a 0 out of 2. Now that we have our key, you'd think we'd be able to make it upstairs, but we have even more problems. So it took me a while to figure out what's going on here, but I'll explain it using a model viewer. So normally the door would go into this door hole, but since this is flipped upside down, this is what our actual...
Okay, I think that's good enough, to say the least. Yeah, regarding this run, that's where the run ends. He's gonna go in depth to the other levels, so if you're interested, I'll just say go to 1550 to continue where I left off. Yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough. I'll be right back, and then we'll watch the Gungrave challenge, and then that will be it for the stream. Okay, I am back, and, you know, I decided, Mr. Stancil, I mean, he's no longer here. Yeah. It do be like that, Mr. Stancil. He got caught, you know, sleeping, and I was just like, I don't fucking care. Anyways, we're gonna get to our last video of the night. I don't think we're definitely not gonna be watching this all the way through, but let's get started. Can you beat Gungrave Overdose without shooting? A bit of a preface, I fucking love Gungrave to death, man. It's one of my favorite series of all time.
When people discuss their favorite action games on the PS2, the most commonly brought up ones are Devil May Cry and God of War, with a bit of Max Payne, God Hand, and Okami sprinkled in. But one of my favorites, one that was somewhat popular at the time but didn't really survive the test of time, is Gungrave.
Actually, hold on. I'm gonna play this at normal speed to do it justice.
But didn't really survive the test of time is Gungrave. Gungrave is what you get when you take a PS2 action shooter and cut all the fat out. The gameplay is very simple. You don't have to aim because your guns will automatically lock on to pretty much any enemies that are on screen, and there's no reloading, no exploration, no puzzle solving, no minigames, no stealth, or pretty much any other form of downtime. It is pure adrenaline, non-stop action from...
Based! Very based. But one thing I had to say, this is also going to be a bit of a little thing about Gungrave Gore Blood Heat. They are, at the direction of Yasuhiro Netao, they are removing the beat counter. A little concerning, if I say so myself, but I can't be too upset. If they're gonna be incentivizing you to, just, be in the action more. But I wonder what they're gonna... I am glad they are keeping demolition shots. So I hope that it's to the extent where it's like, the beat, the beat system is just there to help you build up demolition points.
From start to finish. Looking at gameplay, it looks like something you'd see a character playing in the background of a movie or TV show. You know, in movies, when they show a character playing a video game, they don't usually show what they're playing, but there are loud, hyper-violent sounds, and they'll be aggressively mashing the buttons. Yeah, they're playing Gungrave.
Die! Die! Die!
What the f*** you doing? Nothing? Really? Because I keep hearing a math for that this, that.
Go away.
Gungrave Gore
Go
is a
watch your
fucking
linear
great
entertainment.
game.
Go watch porn. Just go away. What the f***?
It's almost like some kind of parody or social experiment. It's as if someone at Red Entertainment saw all the stereotyping and bashing of video games and gamers that was going on at the time and were like, hey, why don't we make a video game that's exactly what the general public thinks video games are? Though apparently this game was actually meant for Japanese salarymen so that after a hard day's work, they'd have a game they could sit down and play without much thought. And I guess also take out all their workplace frustrations in. Though...
Yeah, that's also true. That's the main reason why Gungrave was made, was for Japanese salarymen to take out their frustrations. Watch the anime. Highly recommend the anime. It's fucking amazing.
Oh, it's not completely mindless. It actually involves a lot of strategy in a way that other action shooters don't. For one thing, you're encouraged to keep increasing your beats count, which is done every time you shoot an enemy or a destructible piece of the environment. But it resets after a few seconds of not shooting anything, so even if there aren't any enemies on screen, you should still keep shooting at anything that looks destructible to not lose it. You also have a shield that regenerates when you're not shooting or taking damage, but in this game, enemies will spawn in and shoot at you from almost every direction, and you're often going to find yourself in situations where there's no cover. You also shoot faster when not moving, so sometimes it's better to just stand in the open and shoot at enemies.
The thing is, that's actually Graves' signature move. So if removing the beat counter in Blood Heat allows you to kind of do that more often, just like shoot faster while you're standing still, it's like, fuck, man, that's gonna be cool.
That's not how I'm going to be playing this game today. Yeah, this game that's all about shooting enemies from guns that have an unlimited supply of bullets and causing as much collateral damage as possible, I'm going to see if it's possible to beat it without firing a single shot. I mean, the title speaks for itself. I can only use the melee attack. I am not allowed to shoot bullets out of the guns at all, unless it ever becomes required, which will answer the question, but even if that happens, I'm not going to stop playing, so yeah. I'm also not going to be playing the original game. I'm going to be playing its sequel, Overdose. It is, well, an overdose of the content from the first game. It features some improvements to melee combat and has some new features. It's also longer, and it's a bit of a divisive sequel, but to be honest, I kind of prefer it over the original. While it did lose some of the artistic flair from the first game, it still looks quite good for a PS2 game, especially such a low-budget one. The gameplay is better, there's more of it, and to be honest, I was actually planning to start with the original game and then go into Overdose in one video and just, combine them into the same video since the first game is so short, but,
yeah, you get to see why, he decided to go with, Overdose.
Yeah, we're just gonna skip straight to Overdose. And I know I normally do these challenges on the highest difficulty, but with how chaotic this game can be at times, I think it's probably better to do it on normal difficulty. I mean, this run is less about the challenge and more about the hilarity of trying to beat this hyper-violent shooter without shooting. Though I imagine the majority of people watching this video aren't familiar with this game, but I think it's worth checking out. It's a decent and underrated PS2-era action game. I mean, it's no Devil May Cry, but it is still a good game. It opens up with Mika from the last game, now almost an adult, literally digging a man out of his grave. But this isn't any ordinary man. This is Beyond the Grave, one of the most awesome undead characters in all of gaming. After that introduction, we have to kill a few enemies outside the house, which we can do by just whacking them with our coffin. After catching up with Mika, we then have to fight through some more enemies, all of which can easily be taken down in 1, 2, or 3 hits with a melee attack. There's only one enemy in this whole level that's out of reach, and that's this rocket launcher guy with a shield standing on the fence. But we can still take him out by using our melee attack to reflect his rockets back.
Yeah, I hope that's the extent of the parry, like in Blood Heat.
At him. This is something we are going to need to be doing much more throughout the run, but this is the only time we need to do it in this level. We do end up taking some heavy fire at the end, and some of our life bar gets shaved off, but we're still able to beat the stage without any real trouble. We're then introduced to Spike, a boy genius who made a little monster that can track seed, which is a very powerful drug that we're trying to stop from spreading around. And we're going to use it to find and bust some drug lords Boondock Saints style. And our first operation is taking place at a fancy hotel managed by Uncle Ruckus. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised with all the jobs he has, though I didn't think he was actually serious when he said he was going to start selling drugs.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Boondocks references in this video. I love it.
We're not the only people trying to bust up this deal either, but no matter, we still have a job to do. The level starts in the hotel's lobby. The enemies here are pretty manageable. We have to destroy some things before moving on, and then after knocking the enemies around upstairs, we're sent plummeting into the parking lot, where things continue to go mostly smoothly. More enemies are spawning in down here, and we're starting to see a lot more of the big machine gunners, the guys that take 3 hits to kill, but there are plenty of places to take cover when things get a little crazy. Now, the AI in this game is very aggressive, and enemies will try to chase you behind cover whenever you try to hide, but this is normal difficulty. And on normal difficulty, we only need to wait about 6 seconds before our shield starts regenerating, which is usually more than enough time. Sometimes it's also possible to fool the AI into just bugging out and not doing anything. After the parking lot, we have to fight our way through a few more levels of the hotel, and while we are able to make it through, I did get a bit reckless and take some damage in the corners with the elevators. In these parts, enemies are constantly spawning in from multiple directions, and there's not really anywhere to take cover. After killing some more enemies in the restaurant, there's a fight against a helicopter, which I was worried was going to be a roadblock since we can't hit that thing with melee attacks, but it fires missiles that can be reflected back at it. And after a few minutes of standing in place reflecting missiles, the helicopter goes down.
Wow. Incoming! Helicopter is incoming!
Grave!
There are a couple more rooms of enemies to beat the crap out of, and after that we reach the boss. Although, by this point, we're barely cleaning the light, so I just take the fall and restart. In this game, whenever you restart from a checkpoint, your HP is fully restored, and you're given one additional demolition shot. Though, we haven't yet reached the point where using one of those is necessary.
And when you
anyway,
die,
beating this boss with only melee attacks is pretty easy if you go about it the right way. Uncle Ruckus walks around in his mechanized spider chair, shooting at you with machine gun turrets. You're supposed to lock onto these and shoot at them to disable them, but they're not very powerful, and they can easily be avoided by just strafing around them. Going up to him and attacking head-on isn't advisable because doing that will cause him to jump on top of you, dealing damage to your shield and life bar. So to attack, we have to wait for him to get tired from, sitting in his chair, hit him with a melee attack to knock him down, and then wail on him while he's knocked down. With each of these rounds of attacks, we're able to knock off about a quarter of his HP. When his HP gets to below half, it gets a bit more difficult because he'll start shooting missiles that don't do a lot of damage but do have a very high blast radius and are able to send Grave flying. But he can't do this infinitely, and we're still able to finish him off before it can become too much of a problem. The fight isn't over yet, though. After his chair gets destroyed, he pulls out 2 guns and starts fighting on foot. And this phase is even easier because all he does is just stand and shoot. That's it. He can't fire missiles or shoot lasers or anything. All he can do is just shoot while turning very slowly. Again, as long as we're strafing around him, he can't hit us. He can only do damage if we play too aggressively and try to melee attack him while he's down, because then he'll attack by penguin sliding into us. Gee, I wonder which popular comic book villain he's inspired by. A single melee attack will knock him down, but as I said, we can't damage him while he's down because not only will he counter with his penguin slide attack, but he's also immune to melee damage while in this state. So what we have to do is knock him down, take a few steps back, wait for him to get back up, and then knock him down again. And we have to keep doing this over and over again for like 5 minutes until he finally gets taken out. But it works.
I wonder how I exploded like that.
So that is a completed mission. But who are those other guys that came in and shot up the place? They are Juji Kabane and Rocket Billy Red Cadillac, or RB for short. They're also dead men that are trying to eliminate seeds, so we decide to team up, although Juji doesn't get along with Spike at first. The next level starts in a grocery store, and we open up by doing what every
Juji is coming back in Blood Heat, which is cool.
Aaron wishes they could do when their 6-month past expired coupons aren't accepted, while the enemies are doing what I wish I could have done as a kid.
And,
unfortunately, the most entertaining thing I could do was rip all the coupons out of these things. I apologize to any grocery store employees that worked at that time that are watching this video. The first part of this level is very narrow, and there aren't a lot of enemies, so it's pretty easy. That is until we get to the boss, Bushido Brown. Yeah, first Uncle Ruckus, now Bushido Brown. I don't even know why I'm making these Boondocks references. This game isn't even older than that
I
show.
love the
Maybe it's because this game reminds me of the Boondock Saints, which also predates and has nothing to do with that show. Let's just focus on the game here. This guy just runs around in circles and lunges at Grave when distracted. It's pretty frustrating, and he's kind of hard to hit, but we can still beat him by repeatedly meleeing him when he's in the corner. This way, we can keep attacking him over and over, and he can't escape, and we're easily able to take him out this way. The next part of the stage takes place in a shipping harbor, and this is where things are starting to get hard. A lot more enemies are spawning in now, and many of them are doing so and shooting from higher up, making it harder to find cover. We are still able to get through the first part, but not without taking a lot of damage to our already heavily depleted life bar. After that first part, one of the enemies tries to crush us with a shipping crate on a forklift, but we can just get around it by hugging the wall on the left side. In the next section, we have to kill some more enemies before moving on, and then we run into another shipping crate trap. Except this time, we can't just run past it, we actually have to take it out, and there's no way we can damage this thing with a melee attack without also taking a hit ourselves. We know it's working because we can clearly see that the crate is taking damage, but we're not able to take it out before our health runs out. We're going to need a full life bar for this. Fortunately, it's at this point I also realized that the whole opening section can be skipped by just running past all the enemies and going straight to the hallway with the shipping crate trap. Then, just run past that and the other enemies to get to the next area. Now, I know defeating every enemy here isn't necessary in order to move on, but we do need to take out, I think it's 3 of the big machine gunners in front of the gate, and charging headfirst into them is likely to result in some life bar damage, even with a full shield meter. Just to be on the safe side, I make sure to carefully take out every enemy I can before shifting the focus to them. And with that, we are able to take them out and open the gate with a full life bar, which gives us enough health to destroy the shipping crate and move past the forklift into the next section. After beating up some more enemies here, we move inside the warehouse, and here we see even more enemies, and we also have our first encounters with the suicide bombers. There is nothing that can be done about these guys. Once they get close enough to Grave, they'll throw their bombs down and explode, and there's no way to get close enough to hit them with a melee attack without that happening. Thankfully, it doesn't do a terrible amount of damage on this difficulty, but there isn't much that can be done about them besides just standing there and taking it. The next room is a maze full of those forklifts with crates, but we can easily take them out by hiding in spots where they can't hit us, but we can hit them, although taking them all out does take a little while. After that, we make it to the boss, who is a shield rocket launcher guy on steroids. He also shoots from somewhere we can't reach him, but just like the helicopter boss, we can still beat him by reflecting his rockets back at him, and firing rockets is literally all he can do. Well, he does have minions that come in to help him, but they spawn in at a very slow rate. They can be kind of overwhelming at first. In fact, we actually have a very close call early on with them getting our life bar down to just a few pixels, but they become less and less of a problem the more of them we kill. The boss also drops bombs in the arena.
That's something else about these challenge runs I'd like to comment on as well. It's just like a lot of them, you're just waiting around so much because you placed a pointless handicap on yourself that the game is not designed around.
But they all come in at fixed locations and can easily be avoided by just standing out of the way. Like I said, the only way to beat him without being able to shoot is to reflect his rockets back at him, which is easy because firing rockets is all he does. Now, sometimes the rockets do get blocked by the crates on the conveyor belt he's standing behind, but they can't block all of them, and beating him with only reflected attacks is more than possible. Our next mission takes place in a casino, where the slot machines double as automatic machine gun turrets. I mean, I know when you gamble the odds are against you, but doesn't this feel a little excessive? Well, these machine gun turrets are no joke. They shred through Graves' shield and life bar whenever they target him, and there is no way to get close to them without them activating. The only way to get close to them without getting annihilated is by using our coffin shield to protect us. It doesn't completely block the damage, but it does reduce it by enough for it to not be a problem. And when the turrets stop to cool down, we can move up to destroy the slot machines with a melee attack, and then retreat back to safety before the other ones are able to break our shield. Although, for this first room, we don't actually need to destroy any of the slot machines. Apparently, all we need to do is kill a few enemies, and then we can move on. The next room, however, is a completely different story. In fact, this is without doubt the hardest part of the game so far. We spend almost as much time in this one room as we did in the entire previous level. We have to destroy all automated weaponry in this room to move on, and this room has slot machine turrets too, and while it doesn't have as many as the last room, they're lined up in half circles from the left and right walls. And there are turrets that shoot grenades in every direction along the left wall. And in the back right corner are 2 rocket turrets. Oh, and 3 enemies infinitely respawn from the back every 10 seconds or so. And whenever we advance to a certain point, enemies will spawn from the front too. So yeah, quite a bit of a step up in difficulty from the last room. The first thing we do as soon as we get in is destroy the roulette table in the front left corner of the room and kill the enemies behind it. Then we take out the surrounding enemies along with the grenade launcher built into the other roulette table along the left wall. This little effort may have gotten our life bar down to less than half, but it was worth it because this little corner here is the only place we're safe from the other hazards in this room. Now we have to concentrate on the slot machines. We can approach them without getting ripped apart using the shield method we used in the previous room, but it's a bit harder here because of the enemies constantly spawning in from both sides. Now, we are able to get it done for the right side, but the left side is even more difficult because we can't even get close enough to them without triggering the rocket turrets in the other corner. We can reflect their rockets back at them, but...
Yeah, if there's one thing I hope that doesn't come back in Blood Heat, it's the fucking rocket turrets. I hate those, and you can't shoot them down both in Overdose and in Gore.
Again, that's not so easy when you have to contend with enemies spawning in from both sides, and we end up taking even more damage to our life bar trying to do this. Thankfully, once all the machines are destroyed, the game gives us a break. All we have left to do now is run through this hallway and fight the boss. Now, I've got a question. Where's this guy's mouth? Like, I know this is a mustache, but it looks like he has another mustache under it. I don't know. Either way, it looks weird. Like, if this is his mouth, it looks like he's doing some weird messed up version of the cat face, and his is definitely not as cute as Spike's version of it. Now, unlike the other bosses in this game, this guy isn't some kind of drugged up mutant or super soldier or anything like that. All he does is just run around in this very tiny room and shoot at Grave with a machine gun. That's it, but it's actually the hardest boss so far because he's faster and there's no way we can catch up to him. At least that's what I thought at first, but then I soon realized that we can defeat him by jumping up on the table and stunning him with an aerial ground attack. This attack doesn't deal damage, but it does immobilize him and the other enemies long enough for us to get close and melee him. In fact, if we get him in the right spot, we can pin him to the corner and attack him over and over, beating him the same way we beat Bushido Brown. And that is exactly what we do. We interrogate him about where his supply of seed is coming from, as well as find out where his mouth is. I guess he really was trying to do a really ugly version of the cat face. And for the seed problem, he tells us to visit some guy named Richard Wong. So we pay him a visit, introducing ourselves the only way we know how. But we find out that he's not actually responsible for supplying everyone with seed. In fact, he wants to get rid of it just as much as we do. He tells us that the people responsible are the members of the Corcione family, and points us to a contact that'll help us. Well, thanks for the help. Sorry about shooting up your home and everything. Actually, the real bad guys are here to shoot us up, and we're gonna have to fight our way through them to get out of here. The first part of this level is actually pretty easy. It's just a few narrow hallways with enemies that we can easily beat. But after that, we get to a part where we can't move on until we kill all the enemies that are shooting at us from a building in the distance, and there's no way to get over there, meaning we can't hit them with melee attacks. Some of them are launching rockets that we can reflect, but most of them are just regular machine gunners. So that means, yep, it is not possible to beat Gungrave Overdose without shooting.
Shocker! But before we end, let's see what he comes up with.
But like I said in the beginning, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop playing, nor does it mean I'm not going to attempt a different challenge. Even though we've established that we can't beat the game with nothing but melee attacks, I'm still going to see if we could beat it by only shooting with demolition shots. And the answer to that is also no, because there's another section where we have to kill more enemies that are out of reach, and they come in 3 waves. And a single demolition shot isn't able to kill them all. And the game won't let us hold on to enough demolition shot charges to get through them all. So yeah, we have no choice but to shoot here. And then we run into another unexpected roadblock. We find ourselves on a rooftop of a building trying to survive against waves of dozens of enemies that are constantly coming in from every direction. There is nowhere to take cover here, and the enemies are spawning in too frequently to have time to let our shield recover. And, like the years, they start coming, and they do not stop coming, and they always kill us. There are multiples of every enemy type we've faced so far here. And I tried everything. I tried running around in circles to evade gunfire while taking the enemies out. I tried rolling around and using the circular swing to take out many of them at once. I even tried stunning them with the ground attack. But nothing seems to be good enough. Whenever I think we have a good strategy down, or we've been lucky enough to make it, more of them spawn in and just finish us. I mean, just look at this mess. There was one instance where I was able to survive long enough to make it to the next part. But you know what that next part is? Yeah, more enemies. So after like the second or third hour of consistent failed attempts, I just get put at a loss. It's hard to say whether or not getting through this part with only melee attacks is actually possible or not, because I don't think I've ever given up on a challenge due to overwhelming difficulty. But the only thing I can think of to do now is turn the difficulty down. But in this game, the only way to do that is by restarting the entire game at a lower difficulty. So that's what I do. Although, during the second playthrough on easy mode, we do unlock some new demolition shots, including one that doesn't actually do damage, but slows down time. And also, like the other demolition shots, it restores our shield by half when it's used. That might be just what we need to get through that difficult rooftop section. And thankfully, unlocked demolition shots carry over into new games, so we won't need to unlock it again. So...
Oh, welcome back, Mr. Stancil. You had a nice little cat nap at 9 p.m. in the evening? Ugh. Can you just get me out of here now? Happily, Mr. Stancil. We're about to be ending the stream, too. I don't know why you waddled on back in here. Anyways, so that was a little introduction into the world of challenge runs. I will be linking the video in the chat. And I will say, continue at 23:40. Alrighty. Well, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Let me just see. Let me see. Dashboard. How many people? Okay, it's just me. It's just me. That's fine. And I don't think I'll be able to raid on Kick anyways. Yeah, I know that this one wasn't gonna get that many views to begin with. I don't think people really care about, you know, me talking about gaming. But this is one I wanted to do for a little bit now. But hey, it's nice that we kind of get to do a bit of a shorter stream. It kind of helps to break up the longer ones, you know? But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next Friday.